Oh, it all goes wrong at the same time, doesn't it?
I think
Okay.
Chase knew. Chase is like, fuck them.
It's okay. We'll just rely on Will and his
Yeah.
expert RP skill.
Will, carry us. Will,
If
put
you
Merton
can
on the
get us-
shelf and start playing Riven.
If you get out of this,
Hold on, I got this. I can be Will playing Ribbon.
Triple kill.
Just smack.
Quadra kill. Penta.
kill.
Okay, I think we're good to start here. There we go.
Hi, stream.
Hey, stream.
The beginning
Oh
of the
yeah,
end.
Romeo retreat.
Monday shall return to its former glory.
So welcome back to another game of Skyfall 5e. I hope all of you guys are doing well. How was the week?
It was good until about 30 minutes ago when our fighter decided to not show up.
Hey! So yeah, if you weren't tuned in during the space before the session starts formally, you know that we're down a guy, so we're gonna be missing Niche, one of those, and he will be
think
table
it's
talk
Niche.
following along with you guys, but he'll be ill, so he'll be unable to contribute, possibly acting as a bullet sponge, but hopefully not.
If you want it to sound like Chase, just have him leave with the tiefling girl and they have sex upstairs or something.
Yeah, but they don't like each other. That's the problem. He jeopardized that last time.
Anger sex.
Anger sex.
no does not mean no in the D&D universe.
Whoa! Okay, so anyway, last session, you guys managed to secure passage here. You fought with some fish people that were around the shore and then start to make your way through the ruins. And in the ruins, you found a couple of old secrets, some abandoned buildings, strange creatures, evidence of other people having been here. There's quite a bit that must be going on in this region. But perhaps most importantly, you eventually found your way towards where Benevolence was, managing to save her from some sort of underground ruin. You guys quickly got into a disagreement of sorts, and Benevolence left, leaving your group in a old ruin, which you have now identified, thanks to Trent's incredible knowledge, as a Miranine death cult. Taking the 3 whispering orbs, you placed them on their pedestals, and a large staircase to some sort of unknown abyss has opened up in the room that Zakul, Merton, and Trent are currently standing in. What do you guys want to do?
See? We're not being swarmed by undead. Everything's going to plan.
We are below the earth, Paladin Merton.
The shaking
If I
of the
am
room
to-
gradually comes to an end, and stray bits of dust falling from the bricks nearby eventually find their place settling onto the ground. The spiral staircase in front of you seems to be made of very old stone, and is just large enough that a single person could travel down it. Not a very large berth. You couldn't really put 2 people side by side. It's opened up right here.
Since I didn't hear the screaming of my party members like dying, can I start making my way down?
Sure, yeah. Niche gives a cough or two, and follows along behind you.
Don't cough on me.
Yeah, he
Oh,
coughs again in a different direction.
It's clearly a temple of some sort.
It's like a tomb.
Yeah, I don't think we have
Yeah.
anything to fear
What-
unless we
what
do
are-
something wrong.
Question. While I'm charmed, do I have, like, no personal action whatsoever? Like, am
You do.
I only
just-
act what he tells me to do, or
No,
how
no,
does that
no.
work?
That's not how it works.
If
You
the
just
spell says so, but otherwise charms just mean that you have advantage to persuade whoever is the charm target. So for the next while, if Merton says something, he'll have a bonus to it sounding like a really good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, but otherwise you're completely yourself.
hmm I don't control you. You just like what I'm putting down.
You just pick up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
I'll turn over to Merton and I'll be like, so, Merton, you think we should go down?
Yes, I do. I'll lead the way if no one else wants to.
Definitely not. But keep recording everything you see.
Well, I will definitely stand by your side going down. There may be something valuable down there, but like I told you before, there is a large number of undead. So be prepared.
Wait, did you just say your book can see?
I have no idea if my book can see, but I want to record everything going.
Ah, okay. I would say that the book has limited sensory perception of basically like whatever's kind of around it. What you see is likely what the book sees.
Okay.
It won't leave your side though. You can't use it for reconnaissance or anything like that. But it'll record the room. I would like a charisma check from you, please, Sakul.
I'm supposed to be good at these.
You had to step on the stairs.
That is a 15. You said charisma save, right? Or
No,
is it
just a
check?
You said
charisma check.
13 then.
Okay. There's something very odd about this place, and as you travel over and put your first foot down onto the top step here, you find that your eyes are drawn almost by some other unseen force towards the closest statue with the orb in hand. And for a brief moment, you almost sense an entity in the orb, and then that passes and leaves a sort of chill going down your spine.
Can I go after Zakul so I can like
Sure.
see what's in the rooms?
Yeah,
or
he's
whatever
standing
behind?
at the top of this stairwell, which opens into some sort of unknown abyss, and it looks like he's staring at one of the statues for a brief moment.
Okay.
Oh, that was a strange feeling I had, but I've had a strange feeling since I've detected the undead.
Move over.
Push him down the stairs.
Although we're all going down the stairs. What does Zakul leave?
Are you sure you want to go first?
Get out of here!
Step
I mean,
aside,
I-
Grandpa.
I'm getting out of the way, but little lady, there's only so much room.
I'm going down.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait, you're leading the way?
the least one who wanted to go is suddenly the bravest.
It is a room. A new room for new adventure.
Well, right now it's a stairway. Who knows what's at the bottom?
You guys aren't gonna leave me in this room by myself, are you?
I mean, I'm following you down.
I'm following. It's just we can't
Okay.
go all together.
I
Did
know.
not
I'll make
expect you
my
to
way
push me
down
out of
the
the way.
stairs. Well, you're in the way. I'll make my way down.
Well,
Perhaps, perhaps you want to stand behind the shield, Miss Tessa.
No, I got it.
Okay.
She says she's got it. I'm not worried, so.
I never doubt T-Money.
Traveling down the steps, a story goes by, then another story. And then at about the time where you'd expect to be about 3 stories into the earth, the stair opens up. And you can see, at first, very little of what's in the room. Tessa, are you carrying any sort of light source with you?
Nope.
Okay. So you're traveling in darkness. And who's the one
Hey,
holding
oh.
the light?
Can I ask a quick question before we get down there?
Sure, yeah.
What did the statues? You said they were all similar. Were they wearing a special kind of like garb? You said they were robed.
Yes, they're all wearing the same robe. It's very loose-fitting and kind of hangs off of them quite a bit. You can barely see any of their features. The most you can see of their faces, which aren't like completely covered by this long draped robe, is just sort of the chin and the bit of jawbone there, and like a little bit of the mouth. Before the rest
Wow.
is just covered off.
Cool. While we're walking down the stairs, can I like trace my hands over myself, and as I do, like the robe forms from disguise self, like similar to the statues?
Sure.
As for the torch question you asked earlier, Trent is
Mage handing it.
yeah, mage handing it for us.
Okay. So Trent,
I'll
you
start
have...
lowering it down the hole.
You have a torch, and at the very front of the group, Tessa, you get towards the end here, but the torch is kind of up and sort of around a little bit, so you get very little of its ambient light, given that this is such like a cramped little staircase, and it's only a little bit of its orangish glow, which pervades into the room that you end up in. This room seems to have a set of stairs that go down from the spiral staircase that you are on, almost like a raised dais that goes into this very large room whose outer walls you actually can't see just because of the darkness. You can maybe see out to here. Now what's most peculiar about this room is that just on the edge of the fire's light, you can see that the dais does not end on a stone floor, nor does it end on a wooden floor. The floor appears to be glass almost. It's like looking at a pane of ice.
Who's behind me? Is this Zakul?
Yes.
Zakul.
Yes,
Don't be
mistress.
alarmed. But I think the floor is made of glass. I'm not sure if you should step on it just yet.
Well noted.
Because he's wearing heavy armor, right?
Correct.
He is definitely bulky. Being a dragonborn, his footfalls are also a little bit heftier. He weighs probably about anywhere from 200 to 400 pounds, depending.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
even without his armor.
Okay.
And I am indeed wearing heavy armor with a big tower shield.
I'll move and make room so you can stand on the steps here, but like, because I'll be closer to the edge of the glass.
Sure.
So that
I will stop on the stairs, like before the floor. Right?
Okay.
Because the floor, I mean, the stairs are not made out of this material.
The stairs are made out of stone, and they look like they're made out of the same stuff that both the walls and hallways from before were made out of. Trent, as you step around the corner here, all of you guys see the peculiarity of this room. At first, the light shines off of this sort of reflective surface, much in the same way that like a window's sheen would prevent you from seeing inside. But adjusting the light, you're able to see past it, and you guys realize that the entirety of this floor is made of glass, and that underneath that pane of glass are rows and rows of corpses, all of which have their faces currently upturned towards you all, and they're all whispering to themselves, though you can't hear them. You can see like small words being muttered from like rotten lips. There's probably 100 bodies compacted into this room.
I don't
Can
want to
I-
be first anymore, guys.
Can I make any sort of check to see if I think these are the whispers that I had heard?
Oh. I would say that that's up to you to decide. You can't actually
Okay.
hear them, so you don't really know what it sounds like. The pane of glass seems to be enough to stop this, but you can see clearly with the torch there that they're all muttering to themselves.
Does it? I guess the better question would be: does it look like the same number as the number of voices I heard? Because I used comprehend language, so I had like a pretty profound experience with the voices.
I would
Do I
say
think
it
there's a-
matches up, yeah.
Okay, cool. Whoa.
This would match up with when I detected the undead earlier, right? Because it's directly below the statue.
Yeah, you had sensed a group of undead below you. Definitely numbering in like the dozens, but now that you're closer, you realize that your sense was most certainly off, and what you see here clearly outnumbers what your senses had picked up from before.
Does my enhanced vision spot anything more than my party would see in this room?
Yes, all of you... Well, actually, no, sorry. You can all see that there's a door over here, after perhaps the initial shock of strange floor predicament. The door across the way seems to be made out of old wood with bands of iron or steel across it. And the rest of the room is otherwise barren. Looking around with your perfect vision there, Merton, you don't see anything like markings on the walls or little tracings of anything odd. It's just a plain room, apart from the obviously strange floor.
Can I squeeze
You're
up
saying
to the
something,
front
Jimmy?
here?
Sure. You can't pass these guys without really stepping onto the floor, though.
Hey, Tessa, can we
Yeah.
switch spots real quick? Can I like examine the floor to see how thick I think the glass is,
Oh.
or is it too hard to tell?
Let's see here. From this angle, it's too hard to tell. You'd definitely be able to if you broke the glass, but from this perspective, you just don't know. It seems to go
What
like directly underneath the what's it called, the stone floor and the wall and everything.
Well, it's
What-
clear only one should go at a time. And it's possible that maybe not all of us should be going.
Well, Paladin Merton, what do you make of these undead that seem to be entrapped below the grass?
Hard to tell. If I could hear what they were whispering, I would have a better idea. But I mean, they don't seem hostile. They're just curious.
A lot of these corpses are in different states of disarray, with some of them having their faces bandaged, much like a mummy would have, and others with their faces completely on display. For a lot of them, their eyes have completely rotted away, but for others, they still have them, like these clouded over white orbs that actually do seem to move about the room, looking from one place to the other on occasion.
Now, when I look down, like, if the glass were to break, how far would I be falling?
You would fall into like a small 1 or 2 foot divot where there is a corpse.
Okay, so it's not like a deep fall here, even if...
Yeah, so like to kind of give you.
Oh,
Chase-
so they're like laying?
Yeah, so if
Chase
this
is
was.
calling me.
Oh,
I'll be right back.
Perhaps I should test the floor. If it can hold me, then it can hold the rest.
so you can kind of picture it
I was
like
gonna
this, where you guys are on the steps here, and then there's just a little pane of glass and little divots that have bodies in them.
Ah, I see. We could do that, or we could let the lighters go first, and they could maybe sense if it can hold you, instead of you just walking out there and potentially falling into danger.
Can I use my mage hand to tap on the glass floor?
The potential danger is also I may not
Like-
be
Sure.
able to come to your aid.
Like, do you know how like thin glass sounds when you tap on it? It sounds like.
Yeah, so as you summon up your mage
Like,
hand,
does it waver, or does it just like thump?
tapping with your hand here, which can only exert enough force to lift like 5 or 10 pound items, the sound it gives is quite dull. And if you had to guess, you'd assume that this glass is pretty thick. I'd like you to make either an intelligence or a perception check, Tessa.
Sure.
Can I make an intelligence check since I'm
Mhm.
watching? And
Where
I
did my
was
dice
examining
just
the
go?
class?
Yeah, for sure.
It just fell off the board. 6 out of 10.
Mine is a 11 intelligence.
A 10 and an 11?
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty average.
You would guess that the pane is pretty thick. A tavern window would be quite small and would be very rattly, but this is like a solid thud. You don't know for sure if you can walk on this, but if you had to guess, it's probably like a full centimeter or maybe 2 thick.
I think I'm lighter than Trent. You want me to try and walk on it?
No brave adventurer would let a lady risk her life first.
Yeah, but you're heavier than
And
I
I
am.
step onto the glass.
You guys can see from this raised platform here, and you as well, Trent, if you look down, that the corpses turn their attention towards you and don't seem
Trent
to be...
is noticeably not looking down.
Okay. Pretend it's not happening. They all turn in your direction, and you guys can see that their mutterings don't cease. They continue, but they all take note of him stepping onto the glass. Faces turn, and indeed, whole corpses seem to almost like shift over in their graves and stare at him while muttering to themselves. Your foot lands on the glass, and it does not break, nor does the glass crack. It seems to hold you okay. There's a door across the way.
Does the glass like give at all? Like, is it like bending with me?
It's quite stable. It doesn't bend at all.
Nice.
It may not be
Um,
hostile, Trent, but do not attempt to open that door until we've examined it. Consider
Yeah,
it
I
as
was
a
just gonna
previous
step
trust.
up and look at it.
Or did it wear off on Trent?
My detect magic would have gone off when I used
I think it ended at the end of
Oh.
last session.
comprehend languages.
There you go. That's why. Okay.
I think they're both concentration, right? So I would have lost it when I used comprehend languages, which should still be going. I think maybe. I don't know how long it's been.
Go ahead and roll luck.
Comprehend languages lasts an hour, so
Luck roll.
oh, that's a 6 luck roll.
I'd say you probably have like another 20-30 minutes left of it.
Okay, cool.
Given
Merton
Yeah, we
will
did
be
dig around a
examining.
lot.
I'll be examining the corpses around the close by the stairs to see if they're like wearing anything or
Sure.
have any type of things on their person.
Make a perception
Interesting.
check, Merton.
I'm pretty much just ready to attack anything that if they come out and attack us.
Whoa, tabletop,
Whoa,
at it
Oh my
again.
god. An actual jank? Oh my god.
A real jank. Haven't had one of those in a bit.
Didn't even touch the wall.
Pretty much on edge at the moment.
14.
14, okay. Looking down, the corpses seem to be of various backgrounds. You can see that one looks kind of human, and that one might be elven, though it's tough to say with all the rot. The robes that they wear are non-existent, and indeed you find that they're not really wearing uniforms or commoners' clothes or anything. They've all been at least partially embalmed, having been wrapped up with bandages of some kind, though the amount of care, or at least the amount of time they've spent here, seems to have given them various degrees of how well the bandages are still holding up.
Okay, so I see nothing important. Yep, Trent, looks like that door is the interesting part of this room.
Can I check
Give it a
out the
good
door?
look.
Can I follow behind Trent? Slowly make
Tessa,
my
I
way
wouldn't
forward?
have more than one on the glass.
I turn around and, as I hear Merton say that, please, Tessa, that's, I'll be okay, I think.
Do you step onto there, Tessa?
I would, if I saw her, I'd be trying to stop her.
Okay.
Whether I could or not is a different story.
Kay might have DC'd.
Rip, okay.
No?
Oh.
I said okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe it just didn't
Oh,
pick up.
nobody could hear you.
Oh.
So do you want to step onto the glass or not?
No.
Okay. Trent, the door seems to be an old wooden thing, with bands of metal going across it. It's maintained its formidable stature throughout the long years that this ruin must have been here, and the handle that you find has no need for any sort of lock, or at least it doesn't show itself to. It just has a simple handle there. There's no writing on the door or anything like that.
Do I feel the need to roll any sort of, like, looking for traps? I mean, we've already seen that several doors in this place are trapped. Can I...
Sure. Yeah, you can make an investigation roll.
Yeah.
17.
Okay, so remember that number. We'll use a 17 for the next little while. In front of you, you give this door a very close look and examine it for darts or some sort of magical incantations. You don't find anything. However, you do find that the door seems to have a very simple sort of deadbolt system that turning the handle should open, and you can barely see past the crack into what looks like a dark hallway beyond.
So it looks like it's locked?
Yes. Well, not locked, sorry. It looks like you'll be able to open it with the handle. Like, the handle controls a simple deadbolt on the other side.
Okay.
Trent, which way does the door open? In or out?
Solution?
It opens inwards.
Looks like it would come towards us.
Well, make sure it doesn't hit the glass or anything. I don't know. Could be a form of trap. Just careful when you actually open the door.
Sorry,
Is
when I
there-
said inwards, I meant into the hallway.
It goes away from us.
Oh, then you're probably good.
I would like to look and see if there's any gap between the floor and the door. Or if it's flush to the ground.
The floor and the door. There is a mild gap at the bottom, maybe about a centimeter in total. A bit of, like, cool air kind of rushes under it if you examine it closely.
I'll very carefully like spread my body out prone here and like lay down by the crack and have my mage hand kind of lower the torch and try and get like a little view into the where it goes.
You're just like face to face with the zombie.
Yeah, you
Oh
hear
no,
a thud.
I am not looking down at all. Oh god, I do.
You still would be face to face.
You hear a thud from underneath you. Do you look, Trent?
Can I make like some sort of save to resist looking? Because I feel like impulsively I would look, but Trent is trying to avoid looking.
Yeah,
So
make
let's say
make just like a straight willpower save, like a wisdom save.
a wisdom save, yeah.
If you get less than a 10, you'll look.
Oh yeah, I'm not looking down.
Okay.
That's a 19.
Yep, something moved there. I'm not looking at it. You hold the torch and go ahead and stare underneath the door, and it's very difficult to see at first. The light of the torch, combined with the very small space you're trying to peer through, does not do much for information, but it appears that there's a curved hallway in front of you. And the hallway not only curves towards the left, but also goes further down.
I'll stand up, dust myself off, look back at the party, be like, yeah, there's like a hallway on the other side. It curves. You guys think we should push on?
I think you're safe to open the door.
Hold. Let me test the floors and see if I can.
But wait till Trent goes through.
Yeah.
We don't want.
Let me get
let's
off.
not-
the floor.
Let's not send the young boy through the door by himself.
I open the
Jeez.
door.
He'll be just fine. Go for it, Trent.
There's a satisfying click as the portions of metal move,
Table
and
talk.
the
This is
door
a terrible
goes free.
idea as the zombies to separate him from us. But go ahead. I said table talk, right? So it is.
There is a curved hallway in front of you, and on the walls of both left and right, you can see that there is almost a filigree of some kind, a decoration that somebody has carved into the wall.
I will kind of step into the room here. Is it like a stone floor or is it more glass?
You're back into a stone floor here.
Oh, thank God. There's like a. All right, guys. Take your time. I'm gonna check out this. There's like something on the walls here, and I'll kind of step in with the torch.
Don't go too far.
I won't.
Stay there.
I'll keep the torch like right behind me, Illusion, like right here, so that it kind of still illuminates for them. But I wanna spend some time like looking at the whatever this filigree is, see if I can see what the what's like depicted there, or if it's any writing.
Well, Paladin Merton, would you like to be the next one across the glass here?
I certainly would if Tessa doesn't mind.
That's fine.
Tessa, did your book write how brave I am?
Nope.
The
Make
book
note,
scratches something off the page.
I was very brave of Trent.
Don't
Burton's
record
not
any
too
of that
worried
book.
as he walks across, but I will definitely be looking at the undead below the glass, unlike Trent.
Sure. They continue to stare at you as you go across.
I'll give them like a a nod, like an acknowledge, like a hello.
They seem to continue watching you and murmur to themselves.
All right, Tessa, if you will.
Sure. I'm
Gotta
gonna
make
look
some room
down
over
at the
here.
floor as I walk across.
Okay. As you step across, you pull their attention too, and the different bodies turn towards you. One of them even almost like raises a hand that sort of drifts over in your direction and then kind of like comes to a rest against the glass for a second as you make your way over.
Interesting. I wonder if they'll still look at me when Zabul gets on the glass if I stay here.
I'll send Mitch across first.
I'm still gonna
We
be
should
like
be
partly
here like any minute.
to
By the way.
see if the skeleton or the undead split their like who they look at when Niche steps on here.
Ah. I will leave that to you guys as to whether you direct Niche to step onto here when there's two people on the glass or not.
We've been doing the one thing, so
Alrighty there, let's go.
definitely keep it to one on the glass.
It's too late, and you already kicked Niche onto there.
He's also waiting on the glass.
Oh, are you waiting to see what
I was
happens?
curious. If you had guys that just said
He's
one by one
specifically
only, I would have
looking
gotten
to
off.
see what happens. So she's
Yeah.
just turned around and waited.
Okay.
That kind of depends on niche.
I think T Money and or I think Trent and Merton would have turned around and saw Tess waiting there and told her to hurry up. We only want to do one person at a time.
She's just curious to see if the undead.
I shoved Mitch onto the glass. Let's go.
Okay, there's two on the glass.
Niche steps onto the glass, and as he does, I'd like somebody who's feeling lucky to make a luck check.
This is out of my hands, so
Whoever's decision
why
it
don't you
was.
do it?
Yeah, okay.
It's a 9. No, it's a 15. Finish roll. 15.
Okay.
15.
Niche steps onto the glass and everything seems to be fine. And you see that they direct their attention towards him as he makes his way onto the glass as well.
Interesting. And I'll walk through the door.
Okay.
I'm pushing them by me, like letting them pass as they get through. I want to be the last one here.
I'm standing on glass.
No one
Oh my
knows
God.
exactly what's about to happen.
Welcome, sir.
No, that's not what you'll see.
Sorry about that.
Zakul, you are the last one there.
I gingerly step forward, putting
I would like
One
you,
foot
sir,
on the
to make
glass.
a luck roll.
So I. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Never mind.
As our fortunate boys. As you
Very
step
nice.
onto this thing, Zakul, everything seems fine, and you rest your weight on there, like putting more and more of your heft into that footstep. And for a brief moment, you think that you hear something, like it might be a crack from over towards the corner of the room. And then the floor takes your weight, and everything seems to be fine.
It
From like
appears to
around
be
the
stable.
corner, not able to see what's going on, I'll say, "Hey, so cool. Before you get on, make sure you lay down and spread your weight out so you don't put too much pressure on one point in the glass. If you like crawl across, it'll be a lot more stable and less chance of breaking through."
As
A
his
bit
shield
late
and
for-
armor would scratch.
As you
it
hear,
off.
well done, Zakul. Welcome to the other side.
A bit late for that, Trent, as I step through the door to the other side.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking at this filigree here. Which have I noticed anything in it? Like, does it look like anything?
It looks like little delicate swirls, kind of. And you've seen this sort of decoration on different things, but the elves are particularly fond of it.
I'll because I have comprehend languages up, I'll run my hands across it in case it's a written language. See if I get anything off of it. Otherwise, just continue on here.
It does not appear to be any sort of writing, and as you put your hand there, it doesn't give you any comprehension. But you can feel that it's like maybe a centimeter deep, carved into the rock. The whole thing must be quite old.
Come on, Nikki, we're leading. That's you
believe he
next.
is- I believe he's still loading in here. Or opening the
Okay. I'll drag him then.
Sorry, yeah, I'm still. It's it had a little update. Sorry about that, guys.
Paladin Merton, are you? Did you
Mhm.
notice?
Yeah, I'll be right there. I'm just looking at the room. Hold on. I'll catch up.
I am suspiciously, but I continue on since I have no reason to suspect them of anything strange yet.
When they're going, I want to kneel on like this part of the glass and like look at one of the zombies, and, like put a hand on the glass, and in undead, I'll say, "Can you hear me?"
Oh, interesting. As you attempt to speak, you can see that the muttering continues, and you don't appear to have elicited any sort of different reaction from the creatures.
All right, then I'll quickly catch up.
Okay.
I don't want to be suspicious.
Turning around the corner, Trent, you find that the very small and thin hallway, which has been going down this whole time, finishes its elegant curves and eventually comes to a point where it opens up into a large room of some kind. This room has an incredibly tall ceiling that goes up, not the standard maybe 7 or 8 feet, but closer to 15, giving the whole place a nice vaulted look. And you can see there's a number of doorways here. These doorways do not have doors in them, they're kind of just arches to themselves. Save for this one directly across, which has a door. But this one seems to be an open area, and this one as well seems to be open.
All right, guys, we got 2 archways and a door.
Is there enough space for all of us to enter the room?
So you're supposed to be
I
cramped in
think
this
so.
hallway.
But give me a second. Using my 17, do I see any like indentations on the floor, any traps or anything?
Ah, you see nothing in terms of traps.
Okay, guys, come on. And I'll like walk in.
Are we free to spread ourselves inside this open area here? Or is anything going to happen as we step in?
Trent, the moment that your foot lands on the floor, a pulse of some kind of energy goes rushing out from underneath your foot and courses along the ground. It seems to fill the space between old bricks and the cobblestone that makes up the floor here. It's like a brief shine, and as it runs out, it eventually meets with the walls on the left, right, and back end. And as it does, this little trailing light goes searing up through the walls here, and then eventually coalesces into different points, and you watch as the light runs towards what appear to be old sconces that then light up as the torches that have been dormant there suddenly give light to the room.
I closed this door, by the way, just so that's known.
Okay.
Not that it will probably matter, but
I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was so cool.
I could not see through the wall, but do you mind explaining what happened, Trent?
At this point I'll like rush into the middle of the room, having my my mage hand kind of like violently like put out the torch, I guess, like shaking it back and forth to put it out, and if that doesn't work, just like
Sure.
shove it into something to put it out. I don't know.
Wait,
I
are
don't
we
know how
free
you
to like
extinguish a torch.
enter the room now? Anything else?
I'd say so, yeah. Unless someone's going to stop anybody else.
All right, so guys, I walked in here and I stepped on that first spot, and all these little lights went through the floor and up into the walls and through the ceiling, and then they came over to the torches and just lit them. Their torches were not lit when I got in here. That's some pretty cool magic, man. This is like some old stuff here. I gotta take notes. Hey, Tessa, can I borrow some pages from your book?
No.
Feel like the Mage's Tower in Soulsland had similar auto lighting
You gotta take pages of my book,
effects,
Trent.
but it's glad that you're so excited.
I take out a couple of pages. I do have like 10 pieces of paper, and I'll just like scribble some notes about like what the initial reaction of like watching it happen looks like. And out of curiosity, have I seen anything like this before? Like, is this like something that I would have seen in the Mage's Tower, like Z said, or?
Yeah, like lights that they magically turn on.
Rooms that light when being entered are a common thing in the wizarding world. You see them a lot. However, that step there, where all like these little trickles of light and everything go pulsing out, you have not seen that before. And although the end effect is, identical, it's certainly a bit showier than what you're used to. Perhaps it's an elven thing.
Yeah, I'm just like kind of explaining that as I'm like writing it down. I'm like, yeah, but like self-lighting torches are one thing, but like the whole showy effect of it, like you could, somebody had a little flair for panache, if you know what I mean.
See that you are the target audience, Trent.
Hey, color me impressed.
you certainly
you
have a
are.
right to be impressed and excited.
By
Now,
the way, has it been longer than a minute?
Perhaps you have some affinity to Death Cult as I step closer to one of these archways that are open. Trying to peer over through.
Longer than a minute since you stepped into here?
No, since we were up in the orb room.
definitely.
Yeah. Given all the trepidation with the floor and everything.
Hey, Merton.
Yeah. What's up?
Nothing. We'll talk about it later. Which way do you guys think we should go? There's like 2 open ways, and
Right,
Was that-
carrying in through the open archways is.
Was that a charm person thing? Because that's an hour, not a minute.
oh, is it an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought it was a minute. My bad.
It's okay.
He's like, I noticed something. Wait, I didn't.
Good thing I didn't
No.
say anything about it.
This does look a bit like the room before, upstairs with all the traps. 3 hallways. Let's just be on the lookout, all right?
Seems to be
Maybe
a
we should
recurring
have brought
theme in
those
here.
orbs.
Threes.
But we are kind of in the temple now, it would seem. So
I think
perhaps
without the orbs, the staircase would close, Trent.
Maybe.
Well,
The
the lights
open
are definitely
archways-
welcoming.
The open archways can easily be seen from this well-lit room here, though they don't seem to have light in them, and their confines are still kind of bound by darkness. There's an incredibly long hallway that leads down this way, and there's another hallway that goes this way and then quickly hangs towards the right. You can also see that there is a... oops, I drew this one wrong. 2 seconds. There we go. This one goes...
I'll look down the mall to see if I see anything special.
I want to step towards one of these magical lights and pull out a torch. Does it light normally?
Oh, are you lighting one of yours on it, or taking the torch from it?
No. Lighting one of my own torches on it.
Ah, it does light.
Well, burns like any other normal flame. And I hold it in this direction. I don't know if Merton's looking all over the place and has better sight than me, but I'm just looking down this.
I want you to make a perception check, Zakul, as you hold the torch down that hallway. Oh no.
That is 6, I believe.
Okay. Holding the torch down the hallway and gazing down it, you see nothing but just old stone, and you can also see that the ceiling here is kind of arched as well, following the same shape as the doorway. It goes down for quite a ways.
Well, this definitely seems to lead far deeper. Perhaps the other doors are a little bit shorter in length.
I'll step up and examine this door here.
The door in front of you here seems to be bisected, having a cut that goes down it and meets at 2 handles where there are a set of rings. You can also see that at the very top of the door, carved into the stone, is some kind of symbol that looks a little bit like an arrow. Do you have proficiency in religion?
Double check. I think that might be one of the few intelligence that I don't have. Yes, it's one of the few. I have a +3 to it, but it's not proficiency.
Okay. So
I'll wait until he mentions something.
You're not
If he
really
does
sure
point
what
out-
it is.
I'll kind of step back from the door and be like, guys, there's some sort of like symbols or something on this.
Sure, let me check it out, Trent. I'd like to roll my religion.
Yep. Anyone that has religion can make the check to see if they recognize what the symbol is.
12.
Okay. So, symbols kind of change through time, but some things remain. And you find that looking at this, you're pretty sure what you're staring at is an old representation of the obsidian dagger of Asperis above the doorway. And you know that Asperis is the god of murder, vengeance, scheming, that kind of thing.
I will share this information.
You share that it's the god of murder, vengeance, and scheming?
And assassination, right? Because that was what Trent was asking earlier, whether it's like a necromancy death cult or like a murder death cult.
Definitely seems like it's a murder death cult.
Wicked cool, man. Should we go in this one?
Is Tessa's book scribbling stuff down?
Oh yeah.
Then I don't say anything, but I am very interested.
Should we go down here? What do you think, Merton?
Well, I feel like generally the middle door is the most important and should be saved till last. And it's the only one. Is that the only door that's closed? The other ones are open?
There are no doors here. They're merely archways. So this is the only door in the room. With a set of double doors ending at 2 very large metallic rings. From your check of 17, you're pretty sure they're not trapped.
If we follow what was upstairs, the middle door led somewhere else, and the side passages were needed to get through, so this would probably be more of the same, right?
Why don't we check these other archways out and split up? I'll take this long hallway and I pull a torch out of my bag. I can be
Okay.
pretty careful, try not to step in any traps.
Well, wait. We shouldn't split up here. I mean, we don't have any idea what's down here. I think we should all stay together, right?
There's benefits to both.
But
Well,
what if this just ends in like a little closet? You know, like what if this is the room that has what we need for the other ways? We can either
Could
walk down a long
be.
hallway, or we can open this door and see what's beyond. If it's another hallway, then sure, we can save it for last.
Okay,
But-
well, don't stand right in front of it when you open it, though.
In fairness, though, these other ways don't have the death cult signs on them, which makes me a little bit less nervous about these other ways. But
on Mitch,
I'll go with the
The
group.
whole place here is pretty
This
death culty,
entire
buddy.
area. We've
Well-
already walked through the glass floors of undead screaming up at us.
This is true, and I don't see any undead down this way. But that being said, I'll do with what I'll hang with you guys if you think that's best.
I'll
I
step
just
over
am
here
nervous.
and
about
be
this
like,
table.
"All right, guys, I'm gonna open the door now. Is everybody out
Tabletop
of the
wise,
way?
I think we should stick together. Yeah,
Everybody
This is-
good?"
mission as well.
Let me position myself in a more hidden way here. Yeah. All right, I'll step through the archway and kind of watch into the room.
Okay.
I still have my torch out though.
The mage hand, the doors open, the double doors.
The mage hand's ability to move things is quite feeble, but it does seem to be enough to pull the door open. And grabbing a hold of one of the rings, it raises it, drags the thing forward, and you find a very small room, much like you had anticipated, a rather closet-sized thing. And
So smart. Trent
You are
says,
smart.
like, audibly.
Almost like he looked at the table and thought he was going to run out of room.
Oh my god, that's true. I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant.
I
but
didn't either.
He could've just
Illusion
drawn
will
an
do
arrow.
things like, yeah, he'll draw arrows over to other
Okay.
places.
That's actually really funny though.
inside of the room, you find that there is a large stone table, which comes up roughly to about waist height. On the back wall, there is some kind of carving, and you see what looks like a sort of shadowy humanoid figure that's been carved into the rock that looms over the table. The table itself, though made of stone clearly, has a surface at the top that is so coated in blood that it looks almost completely black just due to the crimson. And the room seems to be filled with different supplies of like a small table over in the corner, and a little pail over here, and a crate over there. And most of the supplies seem to be sort of strewn about the room, not in a terribly disorganized fashion, but you can see, for instance, that the top of the crate has been opened, and inside of it, it's filled with bandages. You can see that the table seems to have what looks almost like a small knife laying there. There's a couple of little doohickeys kind of laying about.
Can I grab the knife?
I
Sure.
believe we found the altar. Trent, no!
Guys, that's what we're down here for, right?
Well, perhaps we should,
I wouldn't grab that yet.
perhaps you should be careful with the religious altar that seems to be purpose for bloodletting and sacrifices. associated.
Trent, use your mage hand.
No, there's bandages here. Clearly, guys, what we need to do is someone needs to cut their hand and
Yeah,
then
Trent, you're
bandage
an
themselves
idiot.
before we leave.
Just letting you know.
Wait, do you really think that's what we
Why are
should
you
do?
trying to blood sacrifice? Trent?
Trent, why don't we get some more?
Why
kids
else would there
and
be
come
a...
back?
Can
to the-
someone take Trent out of the room?
Actually,
leave
and,
here,
Nitch,
We're gonna
Nitch
get in
steps up.
trouble, guys. We're in a like.
Remember that you're
I'll
charmed,
hold
right?
them back. I'll hold them back for a moment. It's like perhaps communing with a god that is
Listen.
not your own is not.
Listen,
the best
listen,
idea,
listen. We're in a death cult religious temple right now, and if we leave here now that we've seen their temple and seen the sacrifice that's required, if we leave here without doing so, then those undead are probably going to be mad at us, right?
Trent, I think we're in trouble anyway for being down here when we shouldn't.
Well, perhaps we should look around first before we decide.
But if we're going to wander around a god,
Bloodletting and communing with their god immediately.
I don't
I'm
know if it's
actually-
gonna commune with
Nitch
them.
kind of steps up and says, "Actually, I don't usually agree with Trevor, but I
Trent.
think they're actually Trevor. Sorry, Trent. I
If
sorry.
we're going to be walking around his temple,
Yeah.
we might as well be on his good side, right?
I
You think
actually
this is sort of a
kind
protection? Oh, you know,
or something else could happen, and we can like go further into this place.
You've changed
I'm
my
not saying
mind,
we do it
Trent.
right this second, but I think it's definitely a viable option.
You've
I
changed my
advise,
mind, but I insist you let me go first.
I advise against this, but I will trust your judgment here.
Well, I'm already holding the dagger.
But
And
you
it
are
was my
charmed.
idea.
If
But
you
If
know
you
what,
that's
want,
like,
be our guest.
Richard, are you like obsessed with
Okay,
like
okay.
getting hurt?
Hold on. Just to clarify, if he's hurting himself just like on his, fingertip or something, I'm fine with it. If he all of a sudden starts to like, cut his own
slices
throat, I
his
will
wrist. Or
yeah.
something? Holy shit.
Yeah, if he starts like hurting himself to the point where I think he's gonna kill himself, I will intervene. So I'm standing nearby.
Come on,
If
guys.
he
Let's
starts,
get
like,
on his
ch-
good side. Stabs
I'll be
himself
like,
in the
all
neck.
right, Merton, you're a paladin after all. You're better at this religion stuff than me. And I'll kind of like step out and hand the knife over, or I'll step aside and hand the knife to him as Merton comes in.
In my head, I say, "Well done, Trent. You trolled him into cutting himself."
The knife that has been handed over to you, Sakul, is a very
No, I handed it to.
Oh, to Merton. Okay. It's very
He's like,
small.
not me.
Paladin
fake
Merton.
paladin. The fake
Paladin
paladin.
Merton.
It's a very small thing, and it looks almost similar to like a tiny little fillet knife, maybe, or something you'd use to trim like potatoes or vegetables, something like that. It's not a proper meat cleaver or anything like that, nor would it be usable as a combat dagger. It's a very sort of delicate, small thing.
Just like it is like a ritual knife.
Mhm.
So it's a ritual knife, and there's a basket of bandages. You said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I'll-
a little crate in the corner, and it seems to be laying there with its top on its side, and inside you can see that it's filled with bandages.
Are
The
they
altar-
clean or bloody?
They look dusty and old, but they're not bloody.
I'll pick one up and start to press the digitation, the dust off of it, and
Sure.
clean it up as best I can, and like
Right.
unravel it and have it ready for Merton's hand.
Yeah, you can
Could I-
picture almost like rolls of gauze. What's that, so cool?
Could I use my religion roll from earlier to determine whether this is definitely part of the religious thing here on the altar, or
I'd say with an 11, no.
so?
I will.
No.
I'll grab a bandage, and I'll grab the knife, and I'll think of some words to say, because I want to say something like I want to okay. So I'll cut my palm and wrap it with the bandage to maybe like absorb the blood with the knife, and I'll say like in undead, I'll say like, I come to you seeking vengeance. Give me the power to strike down those who have wronged me.
He's speaking in tongues, Trent. Religious men can use these.
I understand.
And I
everything
would have,
you
like-
said to
I would have like bent at the altar and it was like a little prayer.
Make a
Looking
wisdom
up at
check
the
for
figure.
me, please.
All right.
Not 20.
Natural.
Oh my God, Merton! You're struck down by the blood god.
Merton, you kneel in front of this thing, holding the bandages there and the ritual knife, as though you're ready to do the bidding of some sort of horrible god that inhabits this place. But when you say your prayer, there is no response. You find that after a brief moment of kind of kneeling there in quiet, nothing happens.
Well, I wouldn't take this as the feeling of rolling a natural one. I would just take it as saying the prayer, and that satisfies me.
My turn.
Trent. Perhaps this is not the correct rite. We may have to go through some other books or whatnot to find out how to actually do this ritual.
I'll look at Merton.
That is why I wanted to go down the side hallways.
I mean, Merton has already tested the blood theory here. It doesn't appear to have worked just yet. Maybe there's something we're missing.
There are no like books or instructions, to be clear, on the altar, right?
No, there aren't.
Okay.
Okay,
He's stealthing away by himself.
I see. So,
Genius.
Tessa, you would see that while this is happening and everybody's investigating the altar, that Niche just kind of like goes wandering down the hallway over here.
Oh. That was my stealth roll.
He does so with like supreme quiet as he's tippy-toeing along.
I'll just stick my head down there and then not say anything, and then just turn back to the group.
Nitch, you find that this hallway branches off, and you're holding a torch in hand that lets you see that there's another little area right here. Seems to go in that direction. And you can also see what looks like another one potentially further down the line, and your torch kind of lights up another little branch off.
So I will very carefully continue walking slowly, looking for any. I've seen the cage come out of the floor. I've seen undead. So I am
Yeah.
slow as fuck
Make an
creeping here.
investigation roll for me.
Okay. That is going to be a 13 plus investigation 0. 13.
The hallway that you're in does not appear to be trapped, but you're not going to let that fool you. You take your time and really kind of examine the place and begin to travel a bit more slowly. Your torch's light goes out probably to about here, something like that.
Okay.
And on its edge, you can see something. Down the hallway, lining both the left and the right, you see what looks like indents in the walls, though you're too far away to tell exactly what it is that you see with your dim light.
I'm gonna get a little bit closer to see if I can make it out. I can't put a token here really well, so I'm gonna put it here, but I'm going very slow.
Further down the way, what you reveal by getting a bit closer is a sarcophagus that's laying there in both sides of the wall, on right and left. There are indents, very much like the floor, except this time in the walls, where somebody has been laid down to rest.
Kind of like a Skyrim type of indentation into the wall.
Very much so.
Okay. All right. Do I see a body or like or is it anything like that?
They seem to be in stone casings, so you would definitely have to get closer and actually open one up to investigate.
I'm not really interested in opening one up, but I will continue very slowly past that area, looking for any type of triggers or traps or anything.
Sure. Meanwhile, back over in the main room, Tessa, you have the knowledge that Nitch is going off on his own there, and the three of you are over in the altar room trying to puzzle this out. Trent has taken the dagger, I believe. What's going on?
He has taken the dagger, but we're convincing him not to use it.
I
How's
mean,
that going?
I was looking at Merton
How's that
to see if Merton thinks I should do it or not. It's basically what I'm waiting on here.
Well, nothing happened. I don't think I did it right. You'd be needlessly cutting yourself. But if your curiosity needs to be, satiated, I don't know if that's the right word, then yeah, feel free, but I don't think it's going to get you anywhere. I think we'd be better off coming
If
back.
you don't think it's worth it, then we can just come back here. We gave it one go. And I'll
I
sit
may
the
not
night
be
down.
the most bookish scholar here, but as a learned man, Trent, you should know there's no need to continue cutting yourself. Okay. Tessa, where's Nitch?
Huh? Oh, well, he took it upon himself to go down this hallway.
Oh, Christ. We probably all run over there.
Classic Nikki.
I'm not gonna tell him what to do.
Well, if we peer down the hallway, do we see his torch there?
Yep, you easily see him there. He's wandering down the hall.
Definitely not dead, so he's fine. See?
He's like completely silent as he does so, and is moving very slowly.
I would probably run up to when I see him stealthing, and then I would also stealth, because he must know something I don't.
Sure. You can roll
Try to
stealth
catch
if you'd
up to
like.
him.
I mean, I'm holding a torch. I'm being quiet, but I'm like very easily visible. If you're looking
Just
for me.
sprinting.
I won't like sprint down the hallway. I'll stay.
16. Oh, I'm fairly
Okay.
stealthy.
So you start to tiptoe down there too. Trent, you're left alone in the room here with a knife in your hand. What are you up to?
Oh no.
I am making a wisdom save.
Uh-oh.
Actually, no.
I didn't see Trent
I-
come out there, though, right?
I understood everything that Merton said, correct?
Yes, you'd be able to get every
Comprehend
word.
languages?
I don't think that comprehend languages tells you what language they're speaking, but you know
No.
what they mean.
I will step up and follow suit by cutting my hand, and as I like squeeze and drip the blood onto the altar, I will say, I am being hunted by a
Mr. Trump.
foolish man on a worthless vendetta. And it seems the only way that I will ever live a full life is if I'm able to take care of this problem. Grant me the strength to do what I need to when the time comes. And then I will like open my hand and let the blood kind of spill out onto it.
Oh, okay. How much blood do you offer to the table? Is it like
Uh,
a shot glass worth, like a pretty deep cut?
I'm picturing like in like the movies where like I take the blade of the dagger and hold my hand around it, and then I like pull my hand up real fast so that like it kind of cuts like the inside of my palm and my fingers,
Okay,
and then
So
I just
edgy.
sort of like let it spill.
sure. Blood droplets fall down from your hand here and land onto the altar. And as they do, they join with countless other layers of crimson spreading out along the veins there. And the room's lighting seems to change as your torch, which is nearby, held by... Or sorry, are you still holding your torch with the mage hand?
My mage hand is still holding the torch, but it's been extinguished
Right, okay.
because
So-
there was enough light already.
The room that you're in is lit basically by the light from the other room that's just adjacent to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that light goes out when the door behind you closes. And Zakul and Tessa, you hear a slam after seeing the doors over here quickly close.
I rush
I'm
over and
running to the door and trying to
try
grab
to
it.
pull
open.
the door open as well.
Sure.
Trent! And I'm pounding on, like, I guess here? On the door?
Master Trent.
Trent, you're here holding your hand above the altar. When the drops fall there, the door slams behind you and the room becomes quite dark. And then an almost supernatural darkness enters the area. A void the likes of which is like the antithesis of light. Even the dim vision you would normally have in the evening sort of thing is robbed from you. And you hear what sounds like quickened footsteps running over towards the door. You hear almost Zakul and Tessa's voice from beyond the thing, and something slams on the wood there, but doesn't quite make it into the room. And you can see that the statue in front of you, which looks like a humanoid figure kind of seeping through the stone almost in your direction, starts to almost ooze like a blackish ink or a mist of some kind that drips off of it and begins to like pool down onto the ground. I would like a strength check from you, please, Zakul.
That is a 17.
The door does not budge, and as you run over towards it, you pull on the thing, and you know that there's no lock or anything. You've seen this open before, but as you pull on it, it's like the two are attached to one another. Something is keeping it from opening, and worse yet, from the other side, you can't see anything. It's like there's some kind of darkness that has pervaded the room. You can't see through like the cracks of the door, for instance. Like there's some kind of obscuring fog.
I call loudly, Niche Paladin Merton.
Yeah.
You may have,
When I
Yeah.
heard the door
you may have
slam,
an
Yeah.
issue.
I would have said
It-
fuck, and I would have ran
I would
back.
have, yeah, I would have run over as soon as I heard them call Trent's name, like Trent, and then a banging on the door.
And then I'll pull out my Warhammer and attempt to smash the door unless somebody else stops me.
Trent, you're standing here by the altar, and you watch as this black stuff kind of oozing down begins to fill the floor and rises up, and a voice comes sort of ringing into the room. And Zakul, being just outside of the door, you would hear this voice, but very muffled, and speaking to you here in the same tongue that you've just used, so the undead there. It says, "Who is this man?"
Oh, I can't speak undead. I can only hear it. So would I not be able to do this? I don't mean to like throw a wrench into everything, but comprehend
Oh.
languages just lets me hear them.
Oh, so you would have
And
said
I
it in
can't.
common.
Damn you!
I would have been talking in common, yes.
Okay, so it'll respond to you in common then. Sorry, it would have just
Okay.
used whatever language you used.
Oh, you're fine.
So that would mean that you would be able to understand this, Zakul. And something begins speaking to Trent from the other side of the door, and it says, "Who is this?"
I am Trent of House. I give my real house name, not the one I've assumed. Silvermail.
Make a another strength check, Zakul, as you swing the hammer.
Someone is conversing with Trent in there. This door will not open.
Can I hear them like banging on the wall?
This is a 21.
Okay. This time, your hammer strikes the door, and the door blows through. And you know that normally the door would open into the room that you're in, but instead, like, one of the hinges snaps, and the thing flies open, and Trent, you watch as this darkness in the room just disappears and is gone, and light comes back in, and you see Zakul standing there with a hammer in his hand.
Young Trent, are you okay?
Why?
I feared for your life.
Trent,
Well-
when the door automatically slams on you when you're in a ritual closet, there's a problem.
What
I
happened in
Did
here?
you make contact?
yeah, and I'm pretty sure you just pissed it off.
Yeah, we talked about this. We knew he was going to do this, didn't we?
I
thought
grab a bandage and I start to press the digitation it off and just kind of shove past everybody into the room.
I thought you said we were going.
I thought we just discussed this, Trent, that we were.
It's fine. Let's just
Looking
keep
around
pushing
for
on.
All right. Well, I was going down this hallway. It seems kind of clear. There's some sepulchers mounted into the walls here, but outside of that, looks kind of normal. And frankly, that's the
I guess
most
it's
normal
worth
thing we've
noting
seen.
that
When I
The-
stare into the altar room, is there anything different about this other than the unhinged door?
Sorry, say it again?
Is there anything different about the ritual room other than the unhinged door?
No, the door is now irrevocably damaged, but the rest of the room seems identical. You do,
Humanoid
however,
doesn't
see a
have
small
anything.
splattering of fresh blood on the top of the table, of course.
And the humanoid statue looks no different, right?
Yes, it looks the same.
When Trent tries going past, I'm gonna like grab him and try to rush him to the corner, like put my hand on like his face and be like, "What happened? You said we were leaving. Did something happen?"
everybody ran off and I was still holding the dagger and I kind of had a moment of clarity and I thought about something. I kind of like leaned in. I could tell what you were saying. I could understand you. And I have something similar. And I called out and the door shut and the statue oozed out and came to life and started talking to me, asked me who I am. I gave my name. So it knows who I am at least. So
Your real name? I'm like leaning in at this
Yeah.
point closely.
my real name.
What did it say?
Well, at that point, as soon as I had told it my name, Dragon Boy over there busted through the door and the light threw it away. It was definitely something that needed darkness to exist. And looking at that broken door over there, I don't think that room's going to be dark.
What was the correct? What did you do that I didn't do?
Well, I can't speak your language. whatever that was. I don't even know what language that is.
Doesn't matter. You did it anyway.
I spoke in common, and I told it who I was after and why I was after them, or rather, asked for the strength to carry on with whatever it was.
Do I see that your hand is cut?
Yeah, I'm like bandaging it as I'm talking to you. It's pretty. I think it's a pretty big cut. It's like the whole length of my hand. I'm like wrapping my hand in gauze here.
I'll compare our two cuts to see what the difference is.
Guess I'll call over to Paladin Merton. And does the boy seem okay? Possessed or influenced in any way?
No, he's fine. We're talking it out.
Okay.
Oh, look at Zakul. What happened? Did you guys agree you were leaving?
Well, that was the agreement, but
Keep an eye on him.
it appears Trent continued to do something in here.
What
Yeah,
did you do with the blood?
I'll whisper to Zakul. Let's keep an eye on him.
I balled up my fist while I said my prayer, or whatever you'll call it, and spoke the word that needed to be said, and then while the blood was kind of pooling up in my hand, I finished my speech and just sort of opened it and let all of it spill out onto the altar. I asked for the strength to kill the guy who's chasing me. I mean, we've talked about it. You know they want me back at the tower. I can't pay for that. They'll put me in some
No,
sort of servitude.
Look, I understand more than you know.
I just want to live my life, man.
I wouldn't be too upset. We can still fix it. It's just a door.
I'm just worried that
We'll have another chance. You
He
didn't do
didn't-
anything.
Illusion, he didn't go back into the statue, right? He like went out into the light, like dissipated.
He vanished, just like a, and all of the dark smoke
Oh, okay.
just ceased to be.
I don't know, man. It wasn't like he returned to where he came from. It was like the light vanished, the light vanquished him or dispelled him. I don't. I'd have to think about the magic implied here. Obviously it's some sort of illusion and conjuration magic, but probably
Yes.
something divine too. And I don't know if the light interrupted what was happening there. I don't know if it hurt the creature.
If it was a being strong enough to do what we need, it wouldn't be so foolish as to die just from that.
Can I overhear this at all? Or is this all whispered?
I'm like right up in his ear, so
Yeah, you would not be able to hear them, but you'd be very obviously able to see that they're having
But we
a
can
private
see them
talk.
whispering to each other.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell Tessa in a normal sounding voice. It probably is not a deity, more likely a demonic patron of some sort.
Probably.
A deity would
I mean,
be able to speak directly to our minds. It has no need to use a common tongue or a voice that I could have overheard through the door.
yeah, I'm not too keen on the blood sacrifice here. Zakul.
I don't agree with Trent's decision as well.
Well, we can't make him
What's-
do anything. I guess.
What's done is done.
Now, while you guys are talking, further down the hallway, Mitch has started to wander off. Do you guys just let him?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of us had noticed that he disappeared again. He's
probably
sitting-
not. Yeah.
Sure. So, with you wandering down here, Mitch, where are you headed?
Jeez.
He's dead.
No, I'm on mute. I've been talking for the last 2 minutes. Sorry about that. So, when Trent was okay, I kind of meandered back down this hallway as you guys were discussing it, and went back down to where I had been, and then would have been pressing forward more. I just put myself back to where I was, but I would have been kept pressing onward until I saw something different.
Okay.
And obviously moving slow, inspecting things, but still having my torch out.
Sure. The further you go down, the more that you find that these graves have been kind of stacked upon one another, and the walls hold not just a single score of bodies, but like 2 or 3 stacked upon one another in different sarcophagus.
And I would continue kind of pressing on, looking at these sarcophaguses, sarcophagi maybe,
Perhaps.
and checking them out because I know that there's undead creatures in here, and I don't want to suddenly be like overwhelmed in the middle of these things if they decide to turn the fuck on.
So are you opening one of them?
I'm not opening them, but I'm like very slowly moving. Like if I have any sense at all that something's like moving in one of these things, I am like hightailing back, but I'm still being very quiet as possible, creeping through them with my torch. Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Roll the die. Perception 4 plus 3 is 7.
Okay. The hallway that you're in seems to be very still, and there's something definitely kind of like old and creepy about the place, but you don't find anything in terms of traps or hear any rumblings from inside the sarcophagi. They're all just kind of old and empty, perhaps, or if they are filled, whatever's in them continues to sleep.
Okay, cool. Then I'd keep pressing forward till that changes, really.
Okay. As you go a bit further, you do notice something, however. Laying there, with no attempt to be concealed, on one of the stone tabs where the sarcophagus has been placed, you see what looks like some mementos. And you've seen a couple of things like a small cup, or like a little paintbrush, that kind of thing laying around. But here, for the first time, you see something potentially valuable. In front of you, you see what looks like a ruby, some sort of red gem.
Does it seem to be... I mean, it's just plainly laying there. I'm not touching it, but I'm kind of looking at it, and I bring my torchlight over. Does it seem affixed in any way?
No, it seems to be just like a stray object left with some other mementos. You can see next to it what looks to be like a very old and withered flower that's just kind of laying by it.
I'm not proficient in Arcana, so I guess there's no real way for me to know if this is magically done anything, right?
The gem certainly seems mundane from your first glance, but there's no way to tell immediately if it's magical or not without using a detect magic spell or some other kind of detection.
Gotcha. Is it the same size as those spheres, or is it much clearly a different
smaller.
item?
It looks like a gem that could be slotted into like a large signet ring, maybe.
And is it and I'm parallel with it like right now, so it's like at the same square I'm at?
Yeah, it's like
I'm gonna take note of it, but continue pushing forward and see if I see any other types of tributes like this down this hallway, but continuing and not disturbing anything.
Sure.
Just being nervous about the whole thing.
Back in the main room, what are you guys up to?
Trent, I'm with you, okay? But we need to figure something out. Mitch is running off. They're curious of us back there. We just stick.
Damn it, Tessa. I think we've lost Mitch again.
Yep, let's go.
Are you done your discussion, Paladin Martin?
I'd be wrapping up there saying, like, we need to tell them at least something and leave it to me. And before you guys go, I would have liked to, like, catch you.
Sure. We'll wait to go as a group and follow in Mitch's direction.
He's okay. He's okay. He's made contact, and I think it's time we'd be a little honest about what we're really here for. Yes, this is not a good place, but sometimes bad things are necessary for good, and we're just trying to find ourselves.
That is all fine, but there is no good and evil as Azun sees it. But you should still be careful with your own life. You only get one, young Trent, and our lives are tied to yours.
That's fair. I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but until I handle this situation, I don't feel like I have a life.
You know, Trent,
Cool.
you can always ask us for help.
Well,
Definitely don't have to suffer it alone, whatever your
Merton has asked me to totally open with you guys, and so out of respect for him,
No,
I'm being
not
chased.
totally open. Just that's not what I said.
Hey, you did the liar interpretation already.
Nice. Things are
I'm
getting
being
sketchy
chased
back
by
at room 1.
someone, and as long as I'm being chased by him, I'm not free to
Can I
live
turn
a
my
full
book
life.
off before Trent told us?
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, thanks.
And so, I mean, I kind of was bringing it up. This book that I destroyed of that teacher, it's not just because he's, a dick. It's also because he's the thing preventing me from being myself. So,
Trent, why didn't you just give the book back to him and apologize? If you act like
see,
your life is suffering because he's chasing you, why don't you just repay what you owe and then you're
he's
free?
not chasing me for the book. He's chasing me for like the thousands of gold worth of damage my party did to the university.
Oh, so why don't we just kill him?
That's what I was praying for, the strength to do that. He used to be a headmaster at the Mages Guild. He's, obviously he's a kook reading his book here, but he was a headmaster of the Mages Guild. He's got some power. I was just asking for some help. That's all.
You should be careful when making pacts with unknown deities or patrons.
Yeah, Trent, you
They
should ask
could
us
take-
first.
They could take a price that you're not quite ready to give.
Well, now I don't know what I've agreed to, so I guess we're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Well, Nitz seems to be getting further and further away. We should
Oh yeah, let's go.
attempt to catch up.
I'm literally gonna just start fucking booking it down the hallway.
Okay.
I'll lead the way, but yeah.
Oh.
That's, unless someone tells me to stop, then I'll still stay back a bit. Or are we just catching up? That's the
I'm only
plan
going up
already.
till I can see him. I'm not going next to him.
I mean, I'm not really far down. I'm just kind of like moving very slowly, examining torch going from side to side of the walls here. And as they approach, I'll say,
Sure.
look, I'll point out that ruby. Look, there's some type of offering there. I dare not touch anything in this place, but maybe one of you arcane people can make sure there's no trap. Didn't look like there was any mechanical trap to it.
Can I roll Arcana for him then?
Well, if we got there without any issues, right? I'm holding my
Yeah.
torch and I'll head over, leading
Okay.
the way.
So you guys get to about here. And Trent. Let's see here.
Goes ape shit.
I definitely would have been in the back of the group.
I need the 4 of you to roll perception, please.
Well, let me open my sheet.
There's a big spear floating over your head, Nitz. It's about to cut your head off. Looks like a Grim Reaper.
Oh, that's a good roll.
I
That's
rolled
the wrong
7,
guy.
so I don't see it.
That was a D12, right? Okay.
Oops.
There's also 7.
Both Tessa and Trent, you guys hear something like almost like a footstep from down this hallway while you guys are walking past it. Though it seems that Zakul and Merton haven't noticed it at all. It's definitely very faint.
Morton, grab Trent.
I grab Trent.
Trent, you have been grabbed.
And I'll whisper to Merton. There's a footstep down that hallway.
Try to position an arm between us and peer.
It seems to be an empty hallway.
I'll just kind of gesture towards Nitch, with a come here hand.
Sure. Do you
I
turn
kind
around?
of begin to. Well, I assume I heard them coming down the hallway and kind of turn to look and then watching them. Yeah, I'll come back down.
Okay.
Um,
But
Actually, as I
I'll
do
see.
that, I'm gonna turn and look at that ruby.
As I see, did he already say the thing about the ruby to us?
That's true. I did say that. I forgot.
Sure. Yeah, we can say that he kind of mentioned
Yeah.
that down the hall.
If I see him glance back there, I'd be shaking my head no. At the...
All right. I'll stop and then I'll jog, kind of saunter to back, not jog, but saunter back down. Saunter, word of the day.
I I'm like
So-
preparing myself to jump back, but I want to look down the whole hall.
Sure. We have 3 torches at the moment.
The hallway seems to be identical to the other, and it seems fine up until about here or here, and then the walls are lined with corpses from there on out. It seems to just go down straight for quite a ways.
The walls are lined, as in like
Yeah, there's,
laying in them,
There's
or there's
sarcophagus, like one after another, lining the walls. There's indents in the walls, like space is large enough to slot the sarcophagus in, and there's a whole bunch of them just going further and further down the hallway.
to Trent and Tessa. You're sure you heard something?
Totally heard footsteps.
Nod.
How sure?
100%.
Yeah.
That's not good.
What's over there?
Take a look for yourself.
I think I'm good here. Thanks.
I'll turn my book back on, and I will go look.
Turning around the corner, you find that this, like many mysteries, seems to be a fairly difficult thing to unravel, and the hallway that you stare down into with your torch out seems to be completely empty, apart from all these sarcophagus that line the sides of the walls. There's nobody down there. It's just an empty hallway as far as you can see, though it does eventually fade into darkness, betraying how long of a hall it must be.
I'll look over. Should I shoot an arrow down there?
No, you definitely shouldn't.
No.
It comes down to this, gang. We are not here looking to harm anything. As long as that stays the same, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Alright,
Keep
I'll
your
put
weapons
a-
away. Keep fire away from the undead. Don't do anything bad to what's around. Don't steal anything. And I don't think we have anything to fear.
So while I'm passing Merton back to here, I'll just tap, or I'll put like a hand on his shoulder and nod, and then I'll cast guidance on him.
Okay.
Well, given the nature of this sealed area, I'm fairly sure this is no longer living beings we're dealing with. Hope you're ready to commune with undead creatures, Paladin Merton. If you believe a non-hostile solution is possible.
That's always possible.
My experience says otherwise.
Then you need to work on your way with words.
Zakul, can you walk behind all of us?
That could be arranged. Are we going down this hallway? I'm pointing towards where Paladin Merton is.
We just have to choose a way because there's so many at this point. And right now I'm very curious about this one. But
I turned towards the niche. It's like, you didn't grab anything, and the only treasure you saw was a ruby, correct?
Yes, I almost did, but Trent, I think
There's-
maybe talked me
there's
out of
nothing
there.
worse than stealing from a tomb with a bunch of undead. That's the worst thing you can do. It's only a ruby.
Well, I'm glad that you said that then.
It is not worth our lives. Just do
But-
not touch anything.
I think that maybe we should be ready for a battle, and I kind of keep my hand on my sword hilt ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
Let's attempt to heed Paladin Merton's
I
advice.
will,
I do,
but
I do agree with you.
if
though,
attacked
battle may
first.
be-
We are here for information. Even if we're attacked, give me one chance to just talk. If that
Sure.
does not work, obviously
I'll
do what
defend
we have
myself.
to do. But
Yes. All right, fair enough. Nothing bad has happened so far.
just follow me, and I think this hallway will be safe.
I'll take
Alright,
last.
So
Merton's
follow
first.
Paladin
Do
Merton.
we think there's anything even down there? It's just tombs, right? Like,
Well, didn't
who's
you guys
gonna
hear
make
something?
a hallway? Who's
If you
gonna
heard
make a hallway-
footsteps down here, I'm sure it's undead. Don't try. Well,
But-
let us discover
but-
if there's on there to converse with.
But who's gonna make a hallway full of tombs that leads to somewhere? It just leads to more tombs. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Well,
Right?
Perhaps
why?
the patron you spoke with has followers further down.
Well, I thought the whole reason we were here was to look for treasure. But if we're committing to not taking any with us, then why are we here to begin with?
Well, maybe eventually in the back of my mind, but I haven't openly said that, I suppose. We were
He's
Mitch,
talking
we
in
were-
character.
Mitch, we were originally here to rescue benevolence, but yes.
I'm aware of that, but we are past that point. I guess my point is, if we're worried about me picking up a ruby at this point, if we go deeper in, why are we going in if not to take more treasure? And if we take treasure at its deepest point and we have to work our way out, wouldn't you rather know now
Knowledge
if these
is the
things are going
most-
to attack?
How much do you
Knowledge
think
is
that
the most
ruby's
valuable
worth,
thing of
Mage?
all.
I have no
I think we could
idea.
find something worth way more down there.
My
I
point
do
is,
agree.
if we take things and we know they attack now, better to know it now early than being deeper in this crypt. But that's just my 2 cents. And I'll kind of relax a little bit as I say it and just follow their lead.
As we're following the trend of all the traps, probably the open ruby there perhaps is more likely to be a trap than otherwise. Maybe
Fair
something
enough.
of value after we find
That's all.
out what is deeper in here.
Fair.
Could be
Speaking-
lead to a discussion about what to take afterwards.
Speaking
Fair
of
enough.
traps, I seem to have a pretty keen eye for spotting these kind of things. Why don't you guys let me take the lead on this one?
I'm shaking my head profusely.
I'm shaking my head profusely.
Hold on, everyone. Just quiet down for a moment. I'll step here and sort of like announce us in Undead, and I'll say there are 5 of us. We come not as enemies. We are just like you. Your hunger will not be satiated by killing us. Let us pass. We mean no. Let us pass. We mean no harm. Only to learn. And I'll start walking.
Would I recognize
say
his
that?
language?
Fred,
Yeah,
can
what did
stay
you
up
say
here
that
in
in?
front. He
I
said
said
Undead.
I said it.
Oh, Oh, you did? Okay. So I just hear you talking gibberish.
Yes.
Speaking tongues again.
Undead is like very slow and drawn out, so it would be like kind of like a raspy whisper.
Being ahead is fine, Trent. Just stay behind Paladin Merton, though. Keep your eyes peeled, as you said. Paladin Merton seems to have a good head on his shoulders.
So
I'll
are you
keep
guys
up with it.
splitting up?
No,
No.
we're going in a straight line. Just
No, we're
he's
we're
second
following
in
all
line.
together.
This is the order that we're going to the hall.
So if you're traveling further down that way, Merton, you will note, and the rest of you as well, but you first, that there are various treasures laying throughout the room. Most of them seem to be sentimental things laying next to the bodies, but every now and then you see something that looks like, oh, that could potentially actually be of value. You see a blade that's been left here, like an old short sword of some kind. You see a little pile of coins, some gold topped up. I assume you're leaving all of those.
I'm continuing to talk to them, and when I see that stuff in Undead, one of the things I say will be like, "We are not grave robbers. We are not thieves. Do not worry about your belongings." And then, like after I say that, in common, I'll be like, "There are sentimental pieces of the undead, allowing them to rest. Do not take them, or their wrath will be put upon you." This is what we
Oh,
already
no.
talked about.
As we're walking through, just in my head, if there's anything of like extreme value that I think Azun might actually be interested in, I'll note it in my head for grabbing it on the way out or for being chased or something.
Shame.
that-
I mean, I'm
Nothing that just
I'm
if
the
it looks
same
like a
way.
normal trinket, no big deal for me.
Okay. I'd like you to
Looking
make
for jewelry.
a perception check, please, Sakul.
This is for treasure, right? Because I'm
Yes.
the last one in the group. An 8.
Okay. Plenty of these objects are quite old and would likely be worth a decent amount if you could find the proper buyer. That being said, you don't see anything that's like some sort of world-bending treasure or anything like that. Now, this hallway eventually ends, and you guys find that where the final portion of it is, it's capped off by some sort of statue. And here in the wall, you see what looks like a humanoid figure that is wearing robes, much like before. The the statue is, once again, just like at that other room where the table was covered in blood, it's coming out of the wall. However, it doesn't seem to be facing you, and it looks like you're looking at somebody's back almost.
Huh.
Does it open a door, Martin?
I don't know. Let's check it out. Trent, let's take a look up here. I'll get as close as I can, just examining it and making room for Trent, because I know how good he is at looking at stuff like that.
Please give us a small warning before you begin bloodletting again.
Please give me a small warning before you start breaking shit again.
Sassy.
I'll investigate this back of a statue here.
Sure, make an investigation check.
Oh, sorry, I forget the. Give it a really good shake here. 15.
Staring at this thing, it's a little tricky. You're not really sure what you're looking at first. It seems like a really perplexing thing to put a statue here that's looking in the opposite direction. But after a moment of looking at the thing, you realize that it's at the exact same height of the statue back in the previous room, and it's like you're seeing what's on the other side of the wall almost. Now that being said, looking around for some sort of indentation or a raised portion that you could press upon, you don't find anything like that. There doesn't appear to be a door or any kind of trap or anything like that. It's just a plain statue. Curious that it's facing the opposite direction.
Is this like a... You said it looks like the same height as the one in the blood room.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a holy fuck, am I looking, like, is this like space warping? Is that what I'm thinking here? Or is it just like, oh, it's probably the same kind of statue?
I'm not sure I understand.
I don't think that this right here connects to right here, do I?
Oh, you would know that that wouldn't make any sense. But whether or not
Okay.
you want to put that together in your head or not is up to you.
No, I just thought you were the way you were describing it at first sounded like you were describing that, like the way you would realize that, and I was going to have a very different reaction.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like you found the other half of it, almost. Just like way down a hallway in the middle of nowhere.
It doesn't look like this could spin or anything, does it?
Looking at the wall? No, you don't see anything like that.
What if I'll stop before I act and turn around and be like, can I touch the statue, guys? Or are you going to freak out?
More likely that it's just symbolism or something that might make sense later.
Perhaps this is another statue that comes in threes. But if you wish to touch it, go ahead, young Trent.
I just want to see if it spins, that's all. And I'll like kind of try and press on one side.
Sure. You place your hand on the cold stone.
I'll use the hand that's cut.
Okay.
I'll say in Undead that we're touching the statue. No disrespect. No vandalism.
Nothing seems to happen.
Be at peace.
Okay. It doesn't spin. Alright, guys. Back the way we came?
Yes.
Where are those footsteps coming from?
Perhaps one of these many sarcophagus have...
Why do you think I've been talking, young Master Trent?
As we kind of make our way out, I want to look for like any like disturbances in the dust or anything like that. Like, do I see a sarcophagus that's moved recently? Do I see like any footprints or anything on the ground? Yada yada.
Sure, with your previous check of 15, I would say that by the time that you've gotten back to the bend, having exited this whole area, you see nothing. There's no footstep. Whatever you heard does not match up with what you're seeing.
It may all make sense when we've seen everything. I think gathering information is all we can do as of now. We don't need to be solving any puzzles right now.
We'll explore the other two hallways then, in the same way.
That is probably a good plan.
I'll lean forward and whisper to Martin, what if the steps I heard were the creature I talked to?
possible.
What if that's why he's turned around?
It's possible. We will hopefully find out in the many other hallways this place has to offer.
I'll lead the way then. I will
All right,
watch our rear.
Wherever we go, I'm continuing talking, just like
Okay.
in undead, then in common, like trying to be like to anything that may be around, announcing our presence and stating our purpose.
Which one, guys?
Oh,
Middle.
well, we're on this side. Why don't we go down this side? You wanted to lead, you said? Is it cool? That's...
No, I was telling you to go ahead and lead. I'm
Oh, all
watching
right.
the rear. Like the agreed formation.
For some reason, I like leaving the middle for last, so I'd probably go down this one.
Okay.
Just
I heard
talk
Following along, following.
Ah.
Oh, I was gonna do it. Damn it! I was trying to be better about my token today.
This hallway is identical. There are sarcophagus here and there, with offerings laying about, and the hallway eventually caps off with the exact same statue that you saw before. It's not on its own little, like, raised area or anything like that. Instead, it is built into the rock and shows just the back of some robed figure. You do find that there are trinkets here and there, and you find, like, a few little piles of coin and stuff like that, but nothing overly valuable.
The mystery continues. Tessa, good taking notes. Let's keep going with what we're doing. I think the middle hallway may seem a bit more interesting. But
Are we not trying to touch that either? We just saw it and turned around? I don't know. What? Did we just
I would have
stop
got
there?
up to it, made sure it was the same, had Trent look again.
Okay, yeah, you would find that it is the same.
Just being very slow and methodical and careful.
I would like the group to
Respectful.
make a perception check as you go down the final hallway.
Well, that's right. We have the type.
You guys are wandering along, and you find that this hallway seems to be the longest of them all, going for an incredibly, far distance. It's probably twice as long as any of the other halls, and goes all the way to about here, making the total body count available pretty extensive. But at about this point, as you're getting close, and you can see off into the distance that there's another one of these statues, Nitch, you notice something. By one of these sarcophagi, you find that there is a small box which rests next to the thing. And though dusty like everything else, and not out of the ordinary in a way like that, you see that the thing is incredibly ornate, is made entirely of gold, and is large enough to hold perhaps a single piece of jewelry. The whole thing is quite small, maybe about the size of the palm of your hand. It sits there, and just from the box alone, which is made of solid gold, you would estimate that that's worth probably like 50 or 60 gold. Regardless of what it might have in it, if anything, if it's not just an empty box.
I'll turn over to my Dragonborn friend and kind of tap him on the shoulder as we're walking, and I'll just kind of point over. Check that out.
As you look over
Make sure we
Zakul,
grab that on the way out.
you see that thing as well, and yeah, sure enough, just the box alone, you're pretty sure that that would be worth a small fortune.
We'll make note of it if we're
Absolutely.
if we're cutting ties and leaving. We should definitely grab it.
Yeah, not making friends with the dead.
Not at the moment. Don't want to ruin Pod and Merton's plans.
Nah,
Your
but
adverse load.
that's one that we ought to remember.
Okay.
And then we just
Traveling?
kind of note it.
You guys note that and continue going until eventually seeing this final statue there. And after investigating it, Trent, you eventually turn back, give the group the shrug, showing that it's identical to the rest, and we're all going to take a brief 5 to 10 minute break.
Can I just say, we are either being baited to all high hell, or we are being dumb as fuck for not picking this shit up. I'm not sure which one it's gonna be, but
Or we're
baited
doing
to all
it
high hell.
perfectly. What about that one?
No, no,
We're
no.
doing it
it's-
perfectly.
Well,
Playing
we're being
this-
baited, or we're genius for not doing it. But it's everything in my being to not just to see what happens.
Welcome to
As
one of
soon
my
as-
games, Chase. It only goes further down the rabbit hole.
As soon as you said that, I was like, "Don't take it, Chase."
I was like, I was
Don't
like,
do it.
hey, check that fucker out. Yeah, I'm sure there's not
Last-
some poison dart or pull the whole fucking dungeon mechanic associated with it.
I'll be right
Last
back.
Monday group wiped. I don't know if it was their first wipe or one of their multiple wipes, but they wiped because in a dream they took stuff from an undead guy.
Well,
and
here's the
whole
best.
party wiped.
Here's the best part is that you spent the entire last session picking shit up and just like YOLO swagging it, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I can't YOLO swag it here.
Yeah, the orb thing was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die."
It was, it was a much different feeling, I thought.
So that's why I'm like almost like, is he?
There's a difference between
Ugh.
grabbing something in a room with some monkey things above you and grabbing something off of a corpse when there's like thousands of bodies.
Hold on.
lining
This
the
wasn't
walls.
even the monkey room anymore. You're already in the tomb. You're like seeing pedestals full of
Past-
stuff, like grabbing
Past
it,
the cage
immediate-
trap.
immediately throwing it into your bag. It wasn't even like carefully. It was like
You
mine.
barehanded the first one, didn't you? Didn't you barehand the first sphere?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
definitely
fuck it.
was like, Jimmy, oh my god.
And I
I
was
feel like
trapped-
it's totally different. I'm with Jim.
Yeah, there was definitely a difference between grabbing that and stealing from a corpse. Like I don't know.
That was like on a statue, like offering it. Like it should have been taken. This is like in a fucking crypt.
I feel like in a real world scenario, like if I was in a grave, like if I was in a fucking like
Tomb
I don't
Raider?
know, if I was in Tomb Raider, I wouldn't press the giant red button, but the ruby sitting there, I'd just pick it up and like toss it and be like, all right, I'm putting that in my pocket.
But in the real world, zombies aren't living and gonna be mad at you for taking their stuff.
Also not
True.
hearing random footsteps of like the only thing
Yeah.
that could possibly be down here are undead. There's like there's
Or that-
nothing living.
Or
in
that
here.
mother,
They're
or
all
that
clearly
motherfucking
alive.
statue. That
And the second
motherfucking
we-
statue's walking around fucking raping us when we're not looking at it.
The second we piss one of these guys off, they're all gonna wake up, and it's just gonna be the whole hallway for as far down as you can see. Is like just hundreds of zombies. Like,
Well, that's
have
why
fun.
I'm readying. Like you all wait at the entrance, and someone sprints through, grabbing all the shit, running their ass off.
But
I'm
it's gonna
so
be like
excited.
3 saves, and if you fail one, you just fucked. So
I'm so excited for when we've gone through every hallway and all we find are the same thing, and everyone's like, "All right, board Trent back up in the room. We're gonna block all the light out and let him talk to the demon
Oh
again."
my God.
Yeah, we only have the other side. This one.
I mean, if it comes down to that and Trent says it, I'll be like, all right, I advise against it, but sure, go ahead.
something
Yeah,
I'm
your
thinking.
paladin's playing loose and with the rules. I like it.
This is a neutral god too that doesn't really give a fuck.
Oh,
about
that's
that.
nice.
It's literally the dragon god in this world. He's like he's super greedy and a hoarder. And that's pretty much it.
I don't think this party would work if anyone was too
Too good.
awfully good aligned. Too good, yeah.
I like how me sneaking off, I end up like 5 squares away, and that's the most I'm willing to split off from you guys.
Everybody was just like, I swear to God, I was like, oh, he's about to be cut off. We're about to get into a fight right now. He's gonna grab.
If we take something and run, there's just gonna be like zombie hands bursting out of the
Did
wall.
we
like,
walk over a
grappling
glass floor at one point? I think I caught that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
there's
looked
a glass
100
floor with like
zombies
hundreds
below
of
it.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic running back over that as we fuck up.
And it almost cracked from Zakul's weight, so wait till 3 of us are on there together.
Yeah.
Scene out of Resident Evil where it's just like everybody's in the bed. There's just a storm of zombies underneath. Oh great.
Well, we
Why
can
couldn't we
hold
have-
them off via the doorway. It's like for Sparta, you know, the you can stand by the doorway. There's only one can get you, right?
Yeah, but
I want to point out eventually the 300 did die from overwhelming.
Only
because they weren't running away. That's the difference.
The cripple stabbed them in the back.
pretty
Who's
sure
the
that's just in the
who's
movie.
crippled
Well,
here?
well, we have.
Pretty sure in real history they just got overrun eventually.
Probably.
Eventually, but they
I
didn't
was-
run
I wasn't
away.
there.
That was their problem. See, we've learned.
Where are we gonna run? There's a wall here.
I know, right? We have to get through them. If
we could run
stop at
out.
this
We could run
moment,
away. We could run away. Run away.
Can't run through them. Is what I'm trying to point out. We're
Well,
in
is there-
like a one-man hallway here.
Well, they have to. I would think they have to get out of there. They're all in like stone cases, right?
Yeah, until they burst through the walls and start grabbing us. Like
Are they
Will
in the
said.
walls? Well, if they're in the walls, then we're just fucked.
They are in the walls.
So you
Wait,
could
you
get
know
to
that?
like Zakul could get to like here and around, sprinting, and then if by some means it takes them 2 turns to get out, he could get to here. That's still like only halfway down the hallway, and every 5 feet or so is like another corpse.
It'll
You would
be
need-
fine, right?
Yeah, it'll be fine as long as we do what we just did.
We don't know that these could just be dead people that were just pussyfooting around.
It's possible that there's some like, things we need to take and like offer them thing. I don't know, but
Well, I'm down to offer them more of Trent's blood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me go talk.
I
to-
was all about that.
we're gonna
so
we're gonna
out
go
of
over
character.
here.
Z, I hope you know that
Okay,
I'm not.
okay, right. I
I'm
know
not
you're not
actually
mad at me.
you.
I know. Cause like table talk wise, sure, like that makes sense. Your party member just got trapped behind a door. You don't go, oh no, he's okay in there. He's just talking to his friend. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent is actually mad at you right now, but Jimmy is not.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Tessa's mad at Trent.
When there ain't
Tessa's
shit
always
down this
gonna be
hallway, we'll put out
Tessa's
the torches.
actually mad at Trent.
Do it again.
And Kay's actually mad at Jimmy.
Trent is
Nah.
also acting like kind of a brat right now, but I'm just not saying it.
Yep,
because, like,
That's what I was
like,
gonna say.
You're
I
being
mean,
a
like,
acting
brat.
like a brat.
we all understand that he's young, so it's like.
Trent's acting like a brat.
But he's a powerful mage, right? So there's that.
And I can see the future, so don't fuck with me. Or else that next death save might be a 1. That's such a dickish thing to do. Somebody's down on your team and you have
I feel
a
like
1.
if the DM even allowed that would just be like
Oh my god, Aurelia looks so fun, dude. Has anyone seen her?
Yeah, the teaser they posted makes
Ah!
the new rework look insanely
Aurelia
crazy.
or Irelia.
Irelia. That was my name for a while in the game.
Irelia.
I like the
Yeah,
anatomy.
I rail
Rail.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a lot of goofy names.
Shaco
I like-
Bra,
I like Twitch chat spam the most.
Twitch chat spam was a good one.
Why no transgender?
Well, I
chat?
know transgender champions.
I think that's a fair question, right? A fair question.
in this day and age.
Yeah, I want to see that shit. I want to troll people into nonsense.
Would they really like announce that? Maybe there isn't.
They should. They should be like, they'll no. What they'll do is they'll retcon somebody and say, "Oh, they were always trans,"
Vi's always had a
just like J.K. Rowling did with Gandalf.
Class
and made him
always had a
gay.
penis.
Didn't J.K. Rowling say Hermione was black after she casted Hermione?
Yeah. J.K. Rowling can suck a dick. Good stories until she gave into social justice warriorism.
I thought she just gave in to Cap.
I thought you were gonna say good stories don't have black lead characters.
Plenty of great movies and books have
Sorry,
black
Twitch.
characters as the main protagonists.
Sorry, Twitch.
It's
Sorry,
when they
Twitch.
try to co-op one and like clearly so like
Shoehorn it in.
shoehorn it in. Yeah, like dude, don't make a black James Bond. Make a cool 008 black character and then have a crossover. Like I read in like I'm sitting here reading in Reddit and like black people agree with me. They're like, it's fucking annoying when you're clearly doing this just to like try and get us in the movie theater. Like Black Panther, like probably a cool movie because it's like the comic book character. Like don't shoehorn it. Write good black characters.
Luke
That's
Cage.
not- Some funny thread was like, Black Panther is racist.
It probably, I mean, like Black
is,
Panthers
though.
are racist, like the actual like group. of
Like
Black Panthers.
they were like the title of the movie is racist.
Whatever. People
It's
are
not
fucking
racist at
retarded.
all. There's like
Double down into this stupidity.
there's a
And
bunch of white superheroes that have black in their name. Like it's
the Black Knight.
Isn't that the
I
Dark
don't know.
Knight?
That is not an appropriate amount of guilt, sir.
Whatever. There's no guilt here.
I was joking.
like
jeez.
you know, Black Widow. She's a
If anything, I go the other way with it.
Black Adam.
She
I
is
think that
sexy white
Black
gal.
Adam is a white guy. Yeah, Black Adam's gonna be played by The Rock, I think.
I don't
right?
fucking see color, man. I mean, I see colors like a normal human being, but I don't see color.
You mean you don't know Scarlett Johansson's superpower?
What? Good looks?
Big tatas.
Well, I didn't say I see topography, but I don't see color.
I've seen topography.
I can appreciate the female form. Don't care whether it's black, brown,
As
or
a
white.
man, I
Lucian's
see a
turning,
hole.
right?
I see a hole. I want to put my dick in it.
Sorry, Twitch.
Most holes are black. Just saying.
This is how you get Lucian to give you good stuff. You go through a bunch of places and don't take any of his little stuff, and then he's like, "Man, these guys are good. I gotta
See,
offer
I
'em
feel
something."
like you can't say that out loud because
Right,
now
no,
you've
no.
ruined it.
Watching
not here.
Illusion stuff, I don't think you guys get good stuff without a price.
I mean, it's
they
like
ever.
it was a joke.
The best way to get good stuff is to get a shard of madness. And,
That's what I want more than anything for this character, because my guy would actually use it.
get a shard of insanity and just
That's-
walk around while it tells you where all the loot is. Like
That
oh,
sword
there's-
Uchi had, I would want like nothing more than that.
Uh-oh, who'd we lose?
Why, Chase?
Go kill people. Okay.
Does it matter who? No, just go kill someone. Okay.
Great. And why couldn't we ever came in this place last campaign? Fucking Braxton would have a field day down here.
Yeah, Mr. Necromancer. Necromancer?
We've been called that before. Maybe not too bad.
Cheetor dead.
The Weatherman.
I wonder how the Lugs would do in an actual campaign where they weren't just in one city killing things the whole time.
We totally should. If we wipe here, we should totally play the lugs in the next round.
I never will have a problem with playing them.
I think whatever character I do play will fucking have a problem with the lugs.
Who could have a problem with the Lugs? They're the
Play
most
Tiny
lovable-
Shiny.
Oh my god, I would love to play Tiny Shiny!
Oh my god.
You
Gonna
can
have the
play
Lugs
Tiny
and
Shiny and the
Shiny?
lugs.
The Lugs are the
No.
most luggable too.
Don't do this to me, guys.
I don't understand!
That would be the greatest campaign ever.
Tiny Shiny would. Oh my god. Okay, no, I'm playing her if we ever wipe.
Oh god.
Lugs and Tiny Shiny all in the same group. Can you even imagine?
Now we need.
Thought we were gonna
Wolfie.
play an all robot group hell bent on destruction of the human race.
Oh my god, can we play Synths? I want to do this.
Simulacrum.
I clearly came back at the wrong time because all I heard was I thought we were all gonna play robots that were hell bent on the destruction of the human race.
No,
That-
Will
we-
and I,
that's Tuesday,
Skynet.
Kevin. That's Tuesday, Kevin.
Will and I were talking about how the lugs would handle this situation we find ourselves in, and whether they would be viable as a long-term character.
The Lugs are in Tuesday group, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Lug Dynamics, I
They-
thought it was.
They run a workshop called Lug Dynamics.
There's not even a lug there. Amazing. I love it.
Because they don't
But
know.
no,
The
we-
only person that knows is a doctor who was playing Spriggs in that game, like the little gnome barbarian.
Did he just name it that? And they're all like, okay.
No, I told him that and he just started giggling. I was like, yeah, the
Oh.
workshop beside you guys is Lug Dynamics. It's run by a bunch of half-orcs. They're not the best or the worst, but yeah, they're your neighbors.
But then Kay said that no character she makes would be cool with the lugs, and I was like, what about Tiny Shiny? I don't know if you know about Tiny Shiny, but
I've heard
that's
of it.
her, that's her half-orc
6-year-old.
It's like a demon baby, right?
I think I
Parents forgot
played.
her at daycare.
barbarian.
I played with Tiny Shiny once.
You
When was
did?
that? A one shot? Did that get actually used
Yeah.
later on?
No, it was a one-shot character that she's used in a couple of one-shots.
Oh, okay. That's when Dropkick Murphy was around.
Dropkick Murphy.
Dropkick
God.
Murphy. I dropkick.
Solution?
I die.
Tiny Shiny's my 6-year-old half-orc that her parents forgot at daycare. And she tried to walk home and got lost.
Damn, dude.
She started killing shit after that.
But she's an independent woman.
Oh, she is. She is independent AF.
Except when she needs to be carried.
Yeah.
Then
Oh my
she's
God.
not
Carry
very-
me! Carry me! I just carry me! Carry me! Does that still occur? That is your best character you've ever made by far and away. Like it's Eris on motherfucking crack cocaine with a good excuse. Like you know, it's fantastic.
So what I'm predicting here is if we wipe now, if we re-roll
Oh.
this, Lucia's gonna wipe us again, and we will really become the whole Monday group.
We will not be Monday group. Don't
We
steal
will-
anything from the goddamn sarcophagus for sarcophagi.
Yeah, so
Hey, you don't even know that thing is there. That's a
What's
Mitch
sarcophagus?
and Sakul secret right now.
It
Well, I
is.
know the ruby's there.
That's true. You know about the ruby. Go back.
Yeah, my
it's
perception
missing.
checks are off the chain. See, I feel like it can't be bad because I rolled a really high perception check for it, right? Right?
That's totally how that works. All right, are we
That's
good
how
to
the
go?
game works.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally how that works.
Okay,
You noticed it. It is his.
let us dive back in.
So I said let us die for a second. I was like, oh no.
I feel like if you wanted to kill me, you'd make it a lower roll, but then you know I would think that. So yeah, it's like that scene in The Princess Bride. I'll go back and forth for like an hour about it.
Focus less on the rolls and more what I'm describing to you. Trust.
Yeah, the box was worth a lot, and it
You
was
can
difficult
die
to
on that
notice.
money, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
But
That,
you knew I would
that
take
box-
that. But you're from Canada. But Canada has maple syrup. But that means
19, actually 1 plus 9 equals 10. 10, the number of Pokemon in the third game. Anyway,
Half-Life
back,
3
everybody.
confirmed.
yeah,
Half-Life
yeah,
3
basically.
confirmed. I hope that you have your snacks and all and are good to go. We've got another couple hours here before you guys end the session.
Fuck up.
Unless we have a premature
So-
death. We'll see.
We make
You
our
guys-
way towards the two unexplored hallways, unless something stops us. We
Okay.
then mark in our head the ornate box. We have
So-
not taken it yet.
So getting to the very end there, after of course seeing the box and everything, Trent, turns around and tells you guys, this is the same thing as the last ones. What do you guys say when that happens? Do you guys just go okay and turn around and leave, or is there any conversation or anything?
There's a whole other hallway we can
Just like-
explore.
Yeah.
Let's
Do you think
let's
we
go
have to
explore
give
it.
each of them something so they each turn around?
it's possible. That's something I thought, but I don't know what yet. I'm hoping
Okay.
something will show itself.
We tend to have an affinity for blood.
Right now, if we start touching around and looking at things, it might be bad. I'd like to, know what we're getting into.
Well, if
I
the
do
trick-
think there is something to do with it, though. Certainly.
My hand's still bleeding, right, Illusion?
If the trick at the end is that
Yes.
we have to bloodlet all the statues at the same time, this
I'll just kind of like pull the bandage aside a little bit and be like, should I touch the statue with the blood?
I don't see why not.
Wait. And
I'll just wipe a little bit on
worst-
the.
Trent and
worst-
cast guidance.
Yeah, worst case scenario is you get
I
what you
don't-
were asking for earlier. Or I guess I
don't
don't
think
know.
they'd-
that you've done that.
I don't think they'd be mad,
I'd like you all to
This
roll
time-
perception, please.
or maybe
I
they will.
You have guidance.
I will not
This after
interrupt
I've
your
touched the statue or
communion this
not?
time.
This is after
Uh,
you touched it.
Oh, I had
I will-
guidance, right? Was it
No,
me?
well,
you
it drops.
gave guidance?
Well, it's after a minute. It drops.
No, I don't have it then.
I need a
So it's on
D4,
chat now.
please.
I put it on.
It's
chat.
on Trim.
Type what
9.
you got.
Oh yeah, I forgot I have to do that.
But
8, 15, 9, 10.
I will not interrupt your communion this time. If you do have a chance to speak with them again.
Maybe
I
put
assume
the
it-
torch out.
Wait, who's doing perception? Just
It might be
Trent?
too light.
I think he said everybody did
Oh,
it.
Everybody.
Oops, my bad. Oops, let me do it.
We do know it needs dark, so if anything was going to happen with that, it's not going to happen while this torch is here.
Well, I'm not willing to put this to go in total darkness in here.
Far down, way behind you in the hallway, Merton, you sense something move. It's like a flicker. Barely anything, almost like a gust of wind that could have been passing through there. Barely perceptible. Do you
Oh,
turn towards
Trent.
it?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. All of you see that Merton quickly turns over his shoulder and looks way down the hallway as though he had heard something, but none of you guys hear anything. And Merton, I'd like you to make an initiative check to see whether or not you turn fast enough. Because you have eyes of the Runekeeper, so you can see really far. Oh no!
6.
You turn around, and the hallway is empty. Your vision goes far beyond the torchlight, so you can see, like, way down there, right? And there's nothing.
No. Wipe it off, Trent. Wipe it off.
Okay. I pull the bandage back over my arm and use the gauze of the bandage to wipe away the blood from the statue.
There's
What
something
gives?
disturbing.
In Undead, I shout, "We are sorry! We thought it was wanted. We will be leaving this hallway now.
Your calls are unanswered. For
Did not
those of
mean
you,
to disrespect the statue."
what are you guys thinking? I'm curious. It's a cool niche, Tessa. What are your thoughts seeing all this stuff going down?
We've definitely fucked up.
Okay.
What, Merton? You keep talking out loud, and I think I understand why. But what are you talking about? Are you speaking to the dead?
I'm trying to ease the undead spirits so we're not killed on sight.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like. What are you saying? What are you like? What?
I'm sure the paladin is carrying good intentions for us. His life
I'm-
also hangs in the balance.
I'm not questioning his intentions. I'm just questioning. Should we do something different?
No, I mean, no. We should leave this hallway, by the way. So cool. Can you please make
I
way?
agree. I will lead the way out. And thought-wise, I just assume this is pretty normal for dungeoneering. Comes with the risk of exploring.
Make haste, please.
All right. So
Guys, I've had an idea. I'll say
Yeah.
as we're walking
I'm sorry,
out.
I was answering illusion with that. I didn't mean to.
Stay quiet, Trent. Stay quiet.
I am leading the way out.
Hold
What's
the
your idea,
ideas until
Trent?
we are out. No, quiet.
What?
We'll talk at the room.
Okay.
Wait till we get down there.
You guys move with haste and eventually make your way back into this main room without being interrupted.
Alright, so it doesn't seem like these hallways are trapped, guys, and I'm not really getting anything off the statues, and it looks like they're all the same. So, since I kind of think the only thing to do is for me to go see if I can talk with whatever that statue is, why don't you guys check out those hallways while I see if I can reach out to that spirit again?
I turn and look. I go,
It's not the worst idea. Can these torches be extinguished here?
Just help me board this door back
I
up.
think just holding the door up will
Okay.
suffice me
All right.
beyond-
All right.
I'll step into the room and hold the pieces of the door up and try and affix them in a way that blocks the light out.
I'll check the other hallways. I'll be right back. I don't think it'll be as long.
I will
Watch,
accompany Paladin Merton.
watch that hallway, by the way.
Or Nitch, would you like to go with Merton or guard the door with
I want to go with
Trent
Martin.
inside? Well,
I
then
think
I will stay
it's
here.
a cool. I think
I'm
it'd be
gonna
better
guard
if you
the
stayed.
door.
That's
Then
a
I
good
will
idea.
stay here.
I'm pretty quiet. And
Yeah, we're
decent
pretty
enough,
quiet.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
How many pieces of this door in? Is it like shattered or is it just like off the hinges?
No, it's got a set of 2 hinges, one near the bottom and one at the top. And the top one was hit, like close to where the hammer landed. Like it popped off of the wall.
Sure, I'll just hold the door then, so it's, shutting the light out for him.
Okay.
Does it work?
It does darken the area, and he is able to hold it up, but nothing seems to come into the room like before.
Okay. I will pull my bandage off and then look at that hand and be like, fuck, can I put the bandage back on, pick up the little ritual dagger, cut the other hand, hold the blood there, say almost the same thing. I'm being chased. I'm not free to live my life as long as this pursuit exists. When the time comes, please grant me the strength to do what I must. Let the blood fall onto the table.
Okay. As you do so, it is not like before. The room does not seem to change, nor does some entity come in and speak to you. You're alone.
Trent, is anything happening?
I'll kind of like look at the statue there, and it's completely dark in here, right? I'll use my mage hand from this side to kind of press up against the door too, and like help keep it in place there. And I'll like cut my hand more, like deep in the wound, and like spread even more blood on the statue or on the altar. Like to the point where it's probably a pretty dangerous wound.
Sure.
Probably doing
My
damage.
God damn it, Will.
Go ahead and take 6 points of damage. So you cut a little bit too far into your hand, and blood really starts to seep out onto the table. And I just need to draw something in real quick here.
Oh yeah, sure. Take your time. I didn't mean to.
Is this
Interrupt.
a sarcophagus big enough for Trent to fit in?
Oh God.
While this is going on, I assume me and Paladin Merton are having an extravaganza down this hallway.
Yes, you see a door here, a long hallway that goes into a darkened room back here, and Merton, you can see a door back there with your good eyes. Now,
What do you see with your
Good eyes.
Special eyes.
now back here,
Good eyes.
brand?
I would like a perception check from both Tessa and Sakul. Oh shit.
Everyone dies.
Ooh. Nope, I got a nat 20, bitches. You guys are standing outside here, and there's a brief moment while you're holding the door there, Sakul, where you notice something kind of different and realize that the light inside of the room there has then gone black once again. It's just kind of you can't see inside of it anymore.
We can't help you because DM calls bitches.
Now, inside of the room, Trent, you sense that a presence enters in, this time seeping in not from the statue like before, but it's almost like it's bubbling up from behind you. And you hear the voice that comes from behind you towards the door there. And it says your full name to you, calling out, what was the last name again? Was it Silvermail?
Trent, yeah, Trent of House Silvermail.
After speaking your name, it says, "You have somebody that needs to die, then."
Yes, his name is Mr. Chow of the.
I can offer you this power.
What would you ask in return?
Dead for the dead.
Who do I need to kill?
taken. If you ignite the flames and walk in their footsteps, I will grant you the death of this Mr. Chow.
Very well. Am I free to speak about you to the ones I travel with? Or would you prefer to remain in silence?
That depends. You have walked into my sanctum. I have looked into your soul. And I sense that you fully agree to go with this plan. As for the others, I am not so certain.
Very well. I will keep my mission to those who can be trusted.
There's a pause, and the room warbles, much in the way that a creature would, taking a deep breath before responding again. And when it speaks, it says, "You've called me here with your blood, like many have before. But we'll have to take up the faith if you want to proceed."
Tell me what I must do.
You sense something. It's like a cold from nearby. It looms over your shoulder, much like if you were seated down at a desk and somebody came and was kind of reading from behind you. And it takes a brief second, but then actual, like, chill fingertips curl around your shoulder ever so slowly. They move in a way that's unnatural. It's clear that whatever this is, it's not like a regular human. It's something else. And the voice continues and says, "Place the dagger onto the altar."
I put the dagger down on the altar.
Good. Right in front of you, you watch as the knife seems to change, and it goes from being this small thing to kind of elongating just ever so slightly, growing in an inch, and changing from being a metal into some kind of like darkened gemstone. And you can retrieve a obsidian dagger if you wish. You can add that to your inventory. It is also a holy symbol of Hesperus.
And I would like feel a compulsion to take this, right? Like, because he asked me to put it down, and then I would feel like I should now take it.
He would motion. You would see a dark, shadowy hand that would like point towards it, telling you to take it. Do you take the thing?
I do.
Okay. When you grab this item, you can feel that there's some sort of magic to it. This has happened before with your time back at Soulsland. Certain items don't betray the fact that they have latent energies, and this is much like that. The voice continues, and the entity holding onto your shoulder says, "Good, good. Keep this close, for many keep it secret. You will have to bring enough bodies to satiate me before I will finish this task for you. It may take time. You do well to bring your friends into your coven if they can be trusted. Like I said, it matters not who you bring to this table."
As your newest follower, is there anything I should know about this place? We've noticed that there are treasures about, and we've withstood or abstained from taking them as to not upset your followers.
I'd like you to make a persuasion roll, please, and roll very well.
Well, shaking that die, baby.
Shake. Oh no!
An 8.
That's like a. It's like a 12, maybe.
Strong 7.
It's a 12.
Strong 7.
Okay.
If only you were a bard.
You are new, Trent. And as we come to get to know one another, I will reveal the secrets of this place. All that I ask now is that you turn, take your group, and leave.
Very
I
well.
can tell that some of the more curious are already headed elsewhere. Have them come back. And with that, the entity seems to vanish from existence. And Zakul, you can once again see that light within the room has returned to something normal, and the door almost escapes your hand for a brief moment, like it almost intends to fall of its own.
Okay, I still hold it up,
Okay.
but at this point, I call in young Master Trent. Is everything all right?
I can hear him, right?
You can. The entity is gone, and it's just like he's talking from the other side of a pane of wood.
Yes, you can let me out now. As I begin to bandage my hand.
As you wish. And I open or pull away the door.
Where are the others?
They went down this hallway.
Yeah, they're right over there, Trent. What's up?
Merton, Nitch.
Can I insight Trent as he walks by me?
Wait,
I'm
while this
not
was
walking
going
by.
on, did they actually get further in the
We
hallway? 'Cause
probably
this,
got
yeah,
farther.
Yeah,
they're like 10
I'd like
feet
to
away
say-
right now.
Yeah, I'd like to say that we did some stuff.
I'll
well,
give you guys some
however long
time.
that took.
Sure, so back over here, there's a door, another door, and then, Merton, you'd be able to see far enough to
Another
know
one.
that there is a room back here, and then another door,
I
finally.
wanted to go to this door.
I'm definitely gonna open the door. I'm gonna check it for
Oh
traps
my
first.
god. Now that you guys are on a time limit, it's just like, open every door!
Are you guys splitting up? You're going in different directions?
Oh,
I'm
I-
sensing
Well,
some
I said
metagaming from
I
the
said
party.
I was going to. No, not metagaming.
No, no, no.
I would follow.
a
Hold
long
on.
conversation.
Hold on. It's me and Will right now.
So I want, okay, before you
Meredith,
guys
I
go
was
this,
following
and
your
this,
lead.
let's roll back. Trent is in the room, and Zakul is holding the door. The two of you have snuck off. What do you do first?
I'm following Murden's lead. I don't think we
Okay.
snuck off. I think we were announced what we were
We
doing.
certainly
Sure.
didn't sneak, and I'm still talking like to the undead as we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you
Just
going, Merton? Nitch is
walking.
following in your wake.
Well, I said I want to go over here. If Nitch wanted to open that door,
Well, no,
I would
he said he
ask
wants
you.
to
I
follow
would
you.
say as we go down this hallway, I was like, you wanna look at this door, Murden?
if you want to, this door seems more interesting. But if you want to open it, go for it.
Is there any markings on this door?
Tessa, off in the
Sorry,
distance.
I did not mean to cough. Sorry.
Are there any markings or any distinguishing features of this door?
Oh, make a perception check or investigation, your choice.
Okay. I'm gonna make a. Can I pick whichever one I want?
Yes,
Wanna
and it will
do-
determine what you see.
Well, I guess I'm like looking for like anything specific. So, I can see the door in front of me. So I'm rolling 11 investigation.
11 investigation. The first thing that you note about this door is it seems plain. It has no banding or anything. It's just an old wooden thing. But you do notice something. There appears to be damage on the door, kind of like somebody has hacked it with a hatchet at some point, and you also see what looks like mild burn marks in the corner. The door does not appear to be trapped, and it has a simple handle at the regular height.
So I'm just gonna rap on it. What do I hear?
Oh, you hear shuffling from the other side of the room.
And then I stop immediately and go, I think there's some undead behind this door. Better move on. And I turn back and follow Murden.
Generally, I like to leave the doors for last and take the open pathways.
Fair enough. And I follow him.
Okay, where are you going?
However far we get, this room seemed big and interesting.
I'd like
Yeah,
you
I'm
to
gonna
roll
be
luck,
careful.
Merton.
Right.
See how much time you guys have.
Oh,
Not much. You step into this room and see what looks like a collection of statues here. There's a bunch on the left and on the right.
3 on each side, right?
And yes, there's 3 on each side, and you can see that they're wearing the same robes as before, these long flowing things that go down. And they have their hands together in reverence, as though they're all in some sort of prayer. Across the room, and now visible with your torch niche, you can see that there is a large door across the way, though this door is not like the others. It is made entirely of stone. And it's at that point that you hear Trent call out down the hallway.
Merton,
What does he call?
Merton,
We're down the hallway, Trent.
come here.
What now? I turn and like kind of shrug and start walking back. You following? I'll only go if you follow. Yeah.
We were
Alright,
told
we're back
to
in there.
come.
Thought Merton was gonna be like, no, fuck that. Open the door.
I was giving him the chance to metagame.
I don't know that we're.
I was
leaving,
giving him the
so-
chance to metagame.
I was gonna use
Fucking
him as
put
an
a bullet in
excuse.
my head.
If he said, "Come on, we're leaving," there would have been a different reaction. Just, I've got something to show you.
Trent seems to have been able to commune with whatever entity was in the room.
I'll sit down on the floor here.
Well, that's good. What are we meant to do in this
Can I
place?
insight Trent once he sits down on the floor?
What do you want to know?
Just want to know if he's any different than before he came in. Like, is he acting like,
Oh.
super weird?
Sure,
or-
yeah, roll insight.
Yeah, can I roll that too? I would have
Absolutely.
been looking at it to see if he got possessed or something.
That is 21.
Damn Kerr. Damn Kerr.
Mine is.
I have 9 proficiencies. It's disgusting.
Mine's a 19.
So both of you would easily be able to tell that Trent has just had a profound experience of some kind, and has definitely either, like he said, like spoken to something in there, or had some kind of divine experience. However, neither of you detect anything like possession. He seems to be himself, but it's clear that he's just experienced something truly, within every sense of the word, awesome.
I will
His faculties
ask
appear to be his
Trent.
own, though.
Yes,
I will ask Trent. Can I make a note of this in my book?
sure.
I'd ask you to turn off your book just for the next couple of minutes.
Sure. I'll turn the book off.
I do share with the party that he appears to be in control of his own mind.
Okay.
I spoke with the statue. It gave me this. I pull out the obsidian dagger.
Pretty.
The
What is
spirit
it
is
function?
dagger. Well, it's a holy symbol, Tessa.
Ah, so no.
Well, it could be. It's still a dagger.
Oh.
There's, as we expected, plenty of secrets in this place. And the entity who rules over it has asked us to depart.
When you say entity, was it Aspirus himself?
I did not see nor ask who it was. I was spoken to, and the darkness is enough. I didn't even bother turning around.
Smokes and mirrors are possibilities. Should always be careful, Trent. I hope you didn't make any deals of selling your soul away for that dagger.
No deals, just a few questions asked and a few warnings given from the spirit. We were asked to leave, and I am inclined to obey. There's things to be found here and more to be done, but for the time being, until it contacts me again and it's ready,
Did the entity ask you to return here at some point?
yes.
Is there a task we must complete for Aspirus or whatever you talk to?
The spirit has offered to help in exchange for our help.
Help with what?
I'm being followed by that powerful mage.
Okay, you don't have to rehash that now. If you explain the entire thing.
Yeah,
Did
just
it want
say
to
we got
speak
filled
to
in.
the rest of us, or
It didn't say that it wanted to, but it didn't say it was opposed to it either. It did ask that
well, I'm curious, and
I would only say that anyone who wishes to speak with it should bring me into the room with them, as it seems as though something about me.
well, if
The
we're
spirit
being
said
offered a deal, I'd like to know firsthand from the offerer.
it
No
read.
offense to you, Trent.
That's
Trent,
all right.
I'll believe you.
Well, the other thing too is, I'd like to make a deal.
I'm gonna look at
No deals were made, Mitch, but if you have a deal you wish to ask of it, I'm sure the spirit would be willing to listen. But
What did he?
the fucking hand, Rob.
I
He
want
said
to.
he was going to help you. What did he ask for in return? I'm sure this help is not free.
I want to remind all of you that this is a Spears, his temple here, or the symbol of the City and Dagger, and he is a god of murder, scheming, and
This
vengeance.
isn't a toy, guys. This
So,
is.
this is
I
not
understand the stakes.
not something to
But
take
let
lightly.
me hear him out. What did he ask of you?
at this point,
If
I
Trent doesn't want to answer, he doesn't have to.
No, but you're not letting him talk.
No, that was more for like when you say I want to make a deal too. Like let's not go into this rash thing. What's the deal? Go ahead, Trent, if you have something to say.
the specifics of my conversation with whatever this spirit is, Asperis or otherwise, I would prefer to keep personal at this point, as I shared some information and some things were shared with me as well. However, as a group of friends, I feel it's worth mentioning that the spirit has looked inside of all of us. It knows who we are, or at the very least, what our intentions are here. And if you go in there and try and lie or deceive the spirit, it will know. I was completely open as I spoke with it, and that is why it respected me and responded to my heatings.
Well-
I do not wish to commune with any god other than my own, so if you want to, I will help you, but I personally will not be entering the room.
It did ask for us to all leave. And
It does seem a bit greedy for me to ask the help of another that I already am getting help from, so perhaps I will leave it to you, Trent.
It asks us to
I
leave.
look over
no?
towards Niche if you want to, but just be aware, deals with God should not be made lightly. I hope you have a good reason for going in there.
I have a reason very much like Trent.
Well, I'm willing to help hold the door once again if you need me to.
I will again stress that he did ask us to leave. So I think even talking to him might offend him. If you want to, I won't stop you, as you all didn't stop me. But perhaps if it would be okay with you, maybe you and I could talk a little bit more, Niche, about what happened and decide if the conversation is needed. If we are going to go about this, and if you all are going to help me with this, we will need to come back here.
Well, I'll step up towards Trent, kind of trying to like hide myself from everyone else. I assume that like I know I said you paraphrased, but you basically told us that this entity is going to help you kill Mr. Chow.
It's going to help me
For
have the
lack of a better word.
strength to kill it.
All right, I'm gonna step up to Trent and I'm going to kind of say, stepping up towards Trent. I guess you're sitting on the floor, and I'm gonna kind of take one knee. I'm gonna pull off my mask, and I'm gonna say to him, because this is the first time I guess you've probably seen my face. I'm gonna say, I want vengeance for the people that did this to me. And I will do anything necessary to get that. If this creature, this thing, is promising you the ability to get back, I want in.
As I said, I won't stop you, and I'll kind of like slide away from the door if you want to go in and speak. But
I understand if all of you need to leave now, but I'll take my chances in this room.
like I said, it's looked into your mind. Don't go in there half-heartedly.
Oh, I don't intend to.
Oh wait, there's no ritual dagger anymore, is there?
Nope.
I'll step into the room with Nitch. I'll pull out my obsidian dagger.
I'll hold the door closed if that's what they wish.
I think, Trent, you can either keep the dagger or I can use it for now, but I do feel like something like this is probably best done in private. But if you want to be here,
Hold
I
your hand
suppose you
out.
could be. I'll hold my hand out.
Slice.
I'll slide the knife along his palm and then like fold his fingers over it so he holds it.
I'll grasp it already. When I grab it, I'm already cutting it into myself. Pull it.
Cut his hand and push him into the room.
Into the door I go.
All right. You step into the room.
I'll kind of start walking over here and try and pull Merton aside.
Don't go too far and leave us behind.
I
I'll be
won't.
holding the door. Lady Tessa, I believe you can keep a record of this event.
I do.
This may be the last memoirs of Nitch if the god does not take
Definitely
to
will.
liking.
I'll turn my book
The
back
last
on.
memoirs of Nitch. Nitch the bitch.
I'm whispering this. You don't hear this, Nitch.
I know more.
Are we doing the conversation up here for a solution or going on down here?
You can go ahead and step inside, and we'll do the conversation outside of the room first, between
Oh,
Trent
okay.
and Merton.
So Merton, it appeared again, it spoke with me, and apparently it's but a shadow of its former self. No pun intended.
Was I muted? I wasn't. Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
Thanks, babe. So glad to feel all
Love
that
you.
love coming.
Sorry. My bad. I was muted.
It's but a shadow of its former self. Its followers are falling away, and it's agreed to help me in killing my foe. But in exchange, it's asked for some killing of my hand. And I thought maybe it wanted a specific person dead. But when I asked, he said it mattered not, as long as they were alive when I brought them here.
Trent, I didn't take you for that type.
If it means I'll get to live my life the way I want to, I'll do what I have to.
You've been very honest with me. Trent, are you this trusting of everybody?
I don't know. Something about you today especially, it just felt like I can really open up with you. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I putting my trust in the wrong place?
I would suggest you don't put it in anyone else. You are lucky that it was me.
That's sort of why I pulled you over here.
There's a reason I don't tell people who my faith lies with. I merely say I'm a paladin of what I do not say. Why do you think that might be?
Perhaps deity would be frowned upon by most people.
I can say that where I draw my powers does not differ far from what you just experienced.
So what should I do? How do I don't know how to get people to come here so I can kill them. Do I need to like knock people out first? And he said I should build a coven. What's a coven? Does he want me to?
Do I know what a coven is?
You would know
mean-
that that's like a group of very close individuals who are in on the scheme.
Like, he wants you to bring a coven to kill, or he wants you to work with a coven?
He wants me to build one, like
Well, I
as
think
sort of an in between the god and the group. I would act as like the speaker almost, and
Well, I think then we would be the coven.
yeah.
Now,
But I don't know. Team Money's not gonna go for this, man.
Now, while you guys are talking about this, you take a brief moment to look back there, noting that T Money might not be in on the scoop.
I'm pretty sure Tumai says she's willing to kill anyone. Quick note. Made that multiple times.
Mitch,
Holding
you
the
have
door. Mitch is inside.
You have stepped into the room. Your hand has recently been cut. What do you want to do?
So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this altar, right?
Yes. There's fresh
So-
blood on it.
I'd like to just kind of take my hand and drop down on one knee and just smack my hand on the altar, just like kind of like.
As you do so, a darkness fills the room, and Zakul, you can feel this entity once again taking hold of the place and blackening out whatever you may see. You can tell that you're no longer alone in here.
Yes.
The voice
I
calls
say
out
out
to you.
loud.
It
Because
says,
everything happened from the outside. Sorry.
"Who summons me?"
Niche. They call me. I'm in Isaac's voice again. Damn it. Niche. They call me.
Very well. Why have you called me, Mitch?
I want to make a deal. Or whatever you gave Trent earlier. I went in on it.
Promise. Interesting.
I'll do whatever it takes.
So who is it? You dead?
I want the one who ordered it. For them to all pull back and leave me behind.
Traitorous act for a traitor. I like this. You're aware that what I ask for in return is a high price.
Name it.
I will require any dead done in the name. And you see that on the table, a blackened dagger, just like the one that Trent had from before, comes into existence and forms almost out of the blood that's been left there.
Damn. Yes.
Take the dagger, Niche.
I'll reach up with my bloody palm and grab it.
When you take the thing, the voice continues and says, I will require many killings for what you desire. This will be a long, protracted quest. You understand?
Yes. Yes. How many do you need? Give me a number. get them all.
I do not know exactly how many I will need. But the first thing that I would ask of you is that you allow to use your body as a vessel in this quest. Would you agree to that?
My body.
If you willingly give it to me, then the chances of this desire being fulfilled grow much, much closer.
Then yes.
When you say that, something closes in upon you. It's like the walls collapsing almost as darkness comes rushing towards your form. And Zakul, you can feel that the door that you hold trembles in your hand. Likewise, the one still attached to its hinges begins to shake. Do you do anything?
I do not, unless no, I don't do anything.
Okay.
Unless something starts bursting out and attacking me and Tessa, I'm just holding the door.
As this happens, I just kind of close my eyes as I'm down on the one knee and with my hand on the altar and just kind of take one last deep breath and close my eyes.
I'd like a Constitution saving throw from you, please, Nitch.
With advantage, because I prepared for this, right? With my deep breath.
No, sir.
That is an 11 plus 5, 16.
Even from down the hallway past the room, you hear a death-curdling scream that comes out from this room here. And Zakul, you hear what sounds like flesh and bone tearing and ripping coming from the other side of the door, and the unmistakable sound of Nitch's voice in the throes of death.
Young Tessa, I believe,
Nope.
my
he
dark-handed
made it
joke, my dark-handed joke about this being the last memoirs may have rung true.
No, he made a deal. Listen to it. He's not screaming for help, he's just screaming.
That
Merton and
definitely,
Trent, you guys hear this as well, and see Zakul holding the door there, and both of them are trembling. Do you do anything?
Nope.
I was muted. I look over at Merton. I'm like, I knew we should have just left, man. You told
I
us to
say,
leave.
You hear that? That is the price of this life. Are you sure that's what you want? I can show you. Well, I'm assuming they're all looking at the door, so this is a safe time. I want to like drag my hand to the wall and like have it just phase through like part of the wall. Just like show him that a little bit.
Whoa.
Jesus, I'll show you your.
You can teach me how to do that?
What the hell going on over here? Buddy's dying, and it's just like, look what I can do.
Gods like this give many great powers. Their prices are far worse than what they give. Are you okay with it?
Before you can answer, Trent, the door falls down, and you can see that this thing is wrenched from your hand, Zakul, as both of them collapse inwards into like a cascading pile of broken like metal and wood that just falls into the room.
I step
And
away.
like the second I see Nitch,
I step
hold
away
on,
and
hold
pull
on.
Tessa behind me as this is
One
happening.
1 second. When I started screaming, what was I feeling?
The worst pain imaginable.
yeah, so
Okay.
like insight him the second we see
Do I
him,
feel
because-
so it's pain, but am I still conscious of this pain,
Ah,
or does it fade from me?
you are to a point. You feel this horrible pain, and it only seems to get worse for a moment. But then there's something else on the other side. It breaks open into a peacefulness, almost, and a darkness which takes you. And as the doors fall inwards, you guys see that the room is filled with gore, and what looks like the remnants of Nitch strewn across the
no.
room.
Oh God!
But do we see Nitch?
Hold the torches.
What's left of him?
Oh,
He's like a bloody mess.
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, that's interesting.
Paladin Merton,
So
I believe.
cool.
That may be a little more than interesting.
Is it cool?
That's not-
Do you see anything else in there? Maybe a
I'm holding my
person?
torch forward. Am I seeing anything more than all the
Just
bloody
body.
entrails of
The
of
torch
my
flame
companion?
reflects off of different parts of his armor that have been torn into pieces. You see a broken blade of his on the ground, another one still intact, everything drenched in blood. The flames
Can I
reflect
mage
off
hand
of the
poke him?
red that coats the room.
Can I talk to my patron and see what he thinks? Because he loves gore and blood, and I've been wanting to see what he thinks about this whole situation. Can I, like, talk to him in my head? Is that a thing I can do?
I would say that you can call for him in your head, but he rarely answers like that. You usually have to ritual call him. Or sometimes, what's actually more common is that he just finds you whenever he feels like it.
Well, you described him as, like, a lover of dying in strange ways and,
Absolutely.
like, art, quote unquote. So in my head, I'll be like,
Yeah, make a luck roll. Maybe he's
Jazzix.
listening right now.
this is something you would want to see. Just like, it's for him, not for me, because it's what he would want to see. No, just
not
a
this
9.
time. Good of you to think about your patron god, though. But, yeah, he doesn't seem to be answering at the time. You look towards this room and think that's exactly the kind of sadistic stuff that he would want.
I'll tell him about it later.
Well,
Can
Trent,
I?
do not worry. You did warn him. This was his decision.
Can I step to the door? Just peek my head in.
Sure. Yeah, it's just covered in red.
Oh.
Tessa, this is one thing prestidigitation will not fix.
I was just gonna be like, can I mage hand poke the body parts? Like, are they there? No. Yeah. Okay. So cool. Let's leave.
There's no whole pieces left, right? It's just small entrails everywhere. Blood.
A whole
splatter.
piece, like you see like a hand that goes and ends like just below the wrist kind of thing.
Okay.
Before he steps away, I would whisper to Merton, teach me. That's it. Before he like walks away.
The last thing I say is, come and see what her newfound god is capable of.
Well, perhaps we
cool?
should follow Trent's advice and
Yep.
heed that we leave immediately.
Try to
Step
tell you
away.
guys.
So we saw Nietzsche's decapitated hand.
Well, more than that, but
Yeah.
he is
Blood
definitely
everywhere.
dead.
Draw a picture of the scene, book. Draw a picture of the scene.
I am very certain he has not made a beneficial deal with the
Here,
spirits.
look at this. Oh no, you guys both had your hands on top of each other. Look like they were holding.
Would I have a
Sorry.
different thought about this, knowing that, like, I've died?
What do you mean?
Like, would it be, like,
Hmm.
super metagaming to, like, say, like, see you soon or something? Or, like,
Oh,
good luck to, like, Nitch?
As
he
he
just wanted
becomes an
me to
undead
go,
and follows
And
us,
he
huh?
died.
you would have no idea if he is to be chosen to be an undead. The phenomenon that starts that seems to be completely random, and no one's sure why it happens. If you want to think that to yourself,
I think
see
it.
you
I
soon.
think it. I
For
don't
sure.
say it.
Yeah.
Definitely a thought.
Who knows? Maybe you will see him again.
It's time to go. And I turn my back quick again.
Okay, well, we quickly leave in single file fashion. Unless
Yeah,
something
pretty much
stops.
running.
No. On this glass here, we go one at a time.
Oh, the glass, yes.
Run,
I
then
am
tippy
leading-
toe.
But after
Yep.
that,
If I'm leading, we're walking out like almost painstakingly slowly, just like methodically walking through everything, coming to here, crossing. You know, we're not like rushing out or anything. We're just leaving.
Okay.
Tessa, you got the details of that room, right?
I
Got that
definitely did.
Okay, good.
is anything stopping us on our way out?
Across.
Beautiful voice in the sky.
One by one, you cross the glass and make your way back. So you guys get across there fine.
Are the undead different on our way out, or are they still just kind of looking at
Nope,
us?
they are still whispering to themselves as you pass by.
This time, I return their glance. Like I'll look down this time as I walk back across the room.
Okay, sounds good. You go
Drop
across.
my hooded form. Not that anyone probably remembered that I was looking like that.
Sure. So are we going up the trapdoor? Anything prepared for the monkeys? The paladin?
I think it might be smart to just take Benevolence's advice.
Light a torch.
Throwing ball bearings every time might clutter it up. Why don't
Okay.
we just go the fire route?
We each light a torch, I guess.
Or I'll turn it into the monkey again. That's what I'll do.
Okay. You're coming out of the trapdoor area then?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys leave everything the way it is as you're going?
No. I would tell them before we get up there was something I wanted. Okay, I'll just say it in character. Okay. I was hoping to find what I was looking for down there, but we didn't. I told you about that door that couldn't be opened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a key. I thought we might find the key down here, but we didn't. So it must be in the pile of things they keep.
Oh,
If
great.
we can get them away from that pile, I'd like to look closer, because I didn't get a
Sure.
good look.
You seem to have left the cult or the death cults area, so I'm open to do anything you wish with the monkey.
I would have liked to look more, but we know what happens if we did.
I'm not too fond of leaving just a hand behind in this world. So I agree.
Too many
Oh.
things left to do.
So
I mean,
we're here talking, right, before we go up the trapdoor.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
preparation. So follow me. It's just up to the right. Just keep the monkeys away.
Are we fighting our way? Are we fighting our way through this?
Just
or
swing the
waving
fire at
torch?
them. They'll. Benevolence said it worked for her. There's 4 of us. It should
Okay.
work for us.
Might be different if you get too
Us-
close to their shinies, though.
Well, that's true.
The
I
second
got
we
close to
open
it
the door-
before, but it
Sorry.
was kind of different.
The second you door, can I look around to see if we see Benevolence's body anywhere?
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Right,
trapdoor
perhaps you
flips.
should. Hold on. Perhaps Paladin Merton, you are already disguised. You want to give it a try before? We'll distract them by going the other way. But if you need our help, we'll.
I do like the sound of that. I didn't want to try before because I had no backup, but I would certainly feel better with you all.
Sure, we'll keep an eye out from the doorway, keeping the monkeys away. But you should go for the pile yourself.
I'll trace my hands on myself, like down my whole body, and it's casting Armor of Agathis, so if they hit me, they're going to regret it
Okay.
before I go up.
So you cast both the armor and the illusion, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Stepping up into that upper area, you find that once again, just like before, it's filled with these creatures running around all over the place. They quickly turn towards your group, seeing you there, and form like a semicircle around you, screeching, jumping, pointing.
I
See
swing.
Benevolence's body.
Tessa, Trent, we're distracting. Don't worry about benevolence. We're keeping them distracted. Merton.
I swing the torch kind of like towards them as I start pushing my way towards the exit.
Okay. Where are you guys going then?
I think the rest of us are going like straight over and straight out.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Well,
creatures
we'll
get as
wait
bold
here.
as to throw rocks at you by the time that you've made it into this room. And it seems like the objects that they get to throw at you only become larger and more painful. Are you guys going to wait in here or just go outside?
I'll hold the shield up, and I'm swinging the torch. Is it dissuading them at all?
Yeah, it does. When you swing out the torch, the semicircle around you suddenly pulls back as they, make another 10 feet away from you. But then inevitably they come running back, throwing more stuff at your group.
I'll do I think Firebolt would set something in here on fire? Like, is it a
Probably
strong enough
not.
piece of fire to actually burn something?
It is, but as far as what's in here, there's not much that you could light on fire.
Okay. As they start to like back up, I'll just like at the ground in front of them, like throw a couple of firebolts out to like encourage them to back up even more. Like not aimed at them, but just like the ground in front of them.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Go
I'm
ahead
shouting
and
out in. Sorry, go ahead.
roll an intimidation check, please, Trent.
Sure.
I'm shouting out to in common. Paladin Merchant, just shout if you need us. We'll be here.
That is a 12 intimidation.
Okay. They do back up, and it buys you more time, but they do eventually come back, and these bursts of flame don't seem to be enough to dissuade them to leave entirely. Now, meanwhile, Merton, you're back over there, and you're standing over this pile of refuse, and the room that you're in is pretty filled with these creatures, though they seem to be pretty intent on what's past the doorway there, throwing things towards your group that's over in the main room. What do you want to do?
Might not be on the outside. I'm probably like going like on or in it, just like searching for that key. Just
Okay.
getting down and dirty and looking everywhere for it.
Down and dirty.
Not just on the outside like what I did before.
I'd like you to make an investigation check, please.
Bill, we need you to kill this.
I know. Ah, damn it. Nope.
You find
Well-
no such key, and the most valuable thing you end up walking away from this thing with is like an old sort of chandelier made of silver. Might be worth
I'm
some
not taking
gold.
anything but the key
Okay.
that I don't find. So
Now, given the
I'm-
pile here, you know that there could be a chance that the key's in there. I just don't have enough time, or can't. be
Trent, I
thorough
know Trent's
enough.
good at looking for stuff.
There's-
Trent, I call for the first time in this monkey form.
Okay.
I
Trent, you
believe
hear your name.
you're needed in there, Trent.
All right, I'll take the torch that I have here and start,
We're working our way in
shuffle my
together.
way in.
I will attempt to deflect anything that gets thrown at Trent.
Okay.
With
I'll
my
do what I
body
can
weight.
to intimidate the monkeys away from Trent because they're not going to like him looking through this. But maybe if I am yelling at them, they will have no choice.
Sure, make an intimidation check in your giant form there.
Well, you've been rolling really well tonight.
24.
Oh, there you go.
You turn around
You muted
and
the
roar at them, and using the feats of imitation that you picked up over the years, you do one convincing enough to back them all up, and you see many that just run off into the hallway, giving you guys a momentary respite. They seem surprised that you would suddenly turn on them.
I come over here. What, Merton?
Key.
That's a lot of stuff.
A key.
Right.
You need to find a
Okay.
key.
Investigation roll, please, Trent, as the
put the
rumbling
tower
sound
shield down
of
here.
monkey hordes comes back towards you.
Wait, can I put the tower shield here and tell Tessa go help him look? I'm just
Mm,
blocking the doorway.
Sure.
oh, sure.
Do you want to rummage through some trash, Tessa?
Sure. Can I,
That's so unlike Kay. I'm so surprised.
when I hear this, when they say
Proud,
rummage trash,
Jim, that was
can
the
I
right-
cast guidance on myself? Just
Sure.
because I'm like, fuck. Alright.
This is the first guy
No!
that's actually getting.
No! The chosen one.
The chosen one.
No!
I need a 1d4, hold on.
The door is not meant to be
15
open.
plus, what is that?
You rolled a
4.
on the
15, so
D4.
19.
Oh my.
Why'd you pull a new 1d4? You have like a
Oh
shelf
shit,
full
I
of
just
them.
realized that. But that one gave me a 4.
The
Where is
three
it
of you
again?
search through the pile and find no key.
Oh, do I find anything else useful? Nice. Anything worth it?
Yeah, you find what looks like a silver spoon.
Huh. Do I know how much it might sell for?
Maybe a few silver.
Have you discovered the key yet? These monkeys are getting.
They're coming back.
Rambunctious.
Don't have any more
They're really
time.
intrusive.
I think we just bail here, guys.
Well, I think that's the call. I'd raise
I've
my
got two
torch
bleeding
wildly.
hands. I'm not really trying to
Oh yeah,
stick around. much
prostitution
longer.
station Trent's bandages to keep them clean.
I'll lead the way out with the torch and
We've
shit.
pushed our luck enough. Let's go.
He still has AIDS. Alright, you guys are going out?
Yep.
Think
Tetanus
of how
and the
many
whole bit.
people have cut themselves with that knife.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh my god.
Someone definitely had it.
There's no way I don't have AIDS. Fuck.
You guys eventually make your way outside of the house, leaving behind this mysteriously, magically locked room. With no key to speak of, you have no idea what could be behind it or how to get inside. You also have mysteries below ground, which are yet to be revealed to you. And one of you who has made a deal with whatever that thing is has evidently made a very final deal. The monkeys back away as you guys escape.
Oh, what the fuck? Didn't learn anything. Well, we learned a lot.
We have more than a few days here.
I mean, we accomplished what we were meant to do,
Kill Mitch.
but a lot more interesting things happened.
Speaking of which, Benevolence is nowhere to be seen.
Of course she
She's
is.
not waiting outside, just smoking a cigarette as you guys pop out. She's nowhere.
Well,
Guys,
we did
what
say
if we-
we'll meet the ship in a day or two here.
We learned of her whereabouts. That was our job. She decided to go off. That's her choice.
Hopefully
So,
she makes it back to Hellcrest on the road. Or she could be waiting for the ship.
I don't know what to make of it all.
So, are we going to wait near the edge of the ruins of Misty Town? Or were you looking to explore further?
I think Trent has some things he needs to tell us.
Well,
I think we have
might
some
as well look for
discussions.
stuff over here, right?
Perhaps get away from the monkey house
Right.
and set up a camp before we open story time.
we still need to figure out what killed those guys on the edge of town. I don't think these monkeys are shooting crossbows.
That could definitely be something we go into now. At the very least, let's get away from the monkey house and start walking away, hopefully. Is that okay with everyone?
Probably. We don't have to stop to talk. I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah.
We can-
We're just
Yeah.
talking as a way.
Okay. You guys go wandering away and traverse down through an old abandoned street of these ruins, getting far away from these creatures. Though you can always, kind of see one here and there. It's evident that they're basically all over this ruin.
They're ubiquitous.
Hmm.
Well,
We have some big things to talk about.
Perhaps it's
Yeah,
just
like,
camp on the
uh,
edge here.
are we not gonna talk about Niche?
Well, that's one of the things. Definitely, we need to
Definitely.
gather our senses, make camp, and
Can we look for a suitable location here, whether it be sheltered or something as adventurers?
Sure. Depends on what you want, but there's plenty of houses where essentially the walls remain, but there's no door or roof. So those would make fine places to set up in and a campfire. Do you want to do that?
yeah.
Sure.
So you guys go and escape to a small house, one that seems a little bit less dilapidated than the rest. It gives you reprieve from the cold winds that blow throughout the area, and you soon begin to set up camp and talk around the campfire.
Trent, why was Niche killed? Was his quest not as just as yours? I don't understand. You know about this deity. What happened back there?
I'm throwing nothing but speculation here, but we were asked to leave, and Niche decided not to.
Niche was not asked to leave. I mean, he just
I
wanted...
was asked to gather all of you and leave with all of you.
I think you need to be a little bit more forceful when saying there is no other option. You also did say you're free to go in there and attempt to talk to. Well, he made that decision, so I don't think you're to blame.
Yeah, it's not we can make Niche do things, right?
Very true.
We've known him for how long?
I take it back. You were not in the wrong. Niche
Oh,
made
Trent
the
warned us.
deal as spoke.
a god who's, strikes a potential follower down. Are you sure you can trust this thing, Trent? I mean, now we have to worry about you as well.
I mean, a god who strikes down people don't listen to him.
And
That's
ourselves,
understandable.
if you said we're going to go back there, right?
I point towards the holy symbol. I believe the Obsidian dagger means he's guarded the trust of the deity at the very least. He wouldn't
Motion.
reward his own symbol.
I
To
point
show.
towards my holy symbol. Like, sure.
I've
I
been
have
walking.
I have one as well. My
I
necklace.
have me.
We're all people of
I've been-
God. Heavy breathing.
I've been walking with this dagger for a little while. Is this something that I feel like I need to attune to or anything? I mean,
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
assuming here that I need to use it when I kill people, but
I would like you to make a straight wisdom roll.
straight wisdom roll.
Not a gay wisdom roll.
Yeah, none of that shit. No
it doesn't
bisexual
exist,
wisdom
okay.
rolls. Oh, it's off the board. Big one coming
Oh my
towards the
god,
middle.
it's
Here we
falling
go.
into the grass. We'll never know what it was.
11.
You don't know, having seen this thing formed from a previously regular knife left in an old ruin, you're pretty sure that there's something about it, but you're not certain what to do with it, or if it has magical properties. It doesn't, like, cause the hair on your hand to sort of stand on end when you're holding it or anything like that, so it's whatever you want to ascribe to it.
Okay. So I'll say to everyone, as for right now, I don't have many answers. I mostly actually have questions.
Trent, don't think we're mad at you at all in any case. We're just concerned if anything hurts you.
I don't think anything's gonna hurt me, but I do think that I've been asked to do something pretty steep. And,
Yeah, no, I'm totally okay with murdering people.
Look.
That's
Hold on.
Trent,
Totally
you
okay
made
with
a
that.
deal with
the book
a
scratch that
god
out.
of a death sacrifice revenge cult. I think we all know what the deal was, alright? You're not fooling anyone.
yeah, he wants me to kill some people.
All you had to do was say it.
Spoiler
Everyone-
alert!
Everyone knew that that's what we...
That is not an issue with us as long as it's not us you are speaking of.
No, but
If you have to kill me,
I
I
mean,
would have a problem with it.
How do we know
I
that
think more
Mitch
importantly,
wasn't your first sacrifice?
Well, if he was sacrificing
Oh,
Mitch, he,
I'll wink at Trent.
he was extremely convincing.
I
Warning him off of it.
the sort of like somber like I had no idea, man. Okay, like what? How was I supposed to know that was gonna happen to him?
Trent, I don't think any of us could know that was gonna happen to him.
I think that is a fair assessment.
Who
Listen,
knows? Trent
what
could
a-
be a master of disguise, just leading us all to our deaths.
I'm gonna look at Merton when he says it. Why
Paladin
did you
Merton,
get that
no-
assumption?
Paladin Merton, no one is that good at disguises.
Fuck you. I don't know. Sorry.
Hey, I can be pretty deceptive when I need to be.
I
Sure,
have
Trent.
the
Yeah.
biggest
okay.
inner smile on.
I feel that I know the man that is Trent.
Right. Let's get back to this. shit.
I'm pretty
what are
good
we
at
gonna do
reading
about
people,
Mitch?
okay?
You're right.
Mitch laughs from beyond the grave.
Yeah, from some hellscape.
Listen, what Mitch showed me in there, what happened to him must have been horrible, and to live with that for however long he had to have taken its toll on him. I mean, I don't think I'm astounding any of you here when I say that it was pretty clear he was damaged from whatever happened to him. And maybe whatever the deity I spoke to was asked him to give his own life for revenge.
Because he was ugly.
Cool.
It
What?
is
Good thing-
possible that he gave his life for his revenge.
Well, Trent was pointing out the disfigurement on his face. You know,
Game
he
over.
had the mask.
999 damage.
That is a good point. He may have made a deal without telling us that he gave his own life for his revenge. That is
When I was speaking with him, I didn't feel like I could communicate with you guys. I don't know, I didn't try to call out to you, but I didn't feel it was the place or time for me to. There was just something about it, you know? Like you get those feelings, the instinct, where you know when not to interrupt something going on. Maybe he wanted to call out to us, but he couldn't. I don't think we should make any assumptions about what happened in there. What I do know is that there is a lot of secrets in there, and I have been offered a guidebook, a hand-holding through everything that's in there. And I know there were treasures that we passed by. I felt like there was some sort of inkling that those treasures were important in some way, whether they were going to be given to us or if they serve some other purpose. I'm not sure what, but if we continue on this path, I think there's a lot more down there for us than just a dusty tomb.
Well, I'm willing to.
If only there were some sailors nearby, no one would miss.
Oh,
So it begins.
so the bloodletting.
They will return in about 30 to 40 hours from now. As my
So
appointment.
we're going to get the sailors. Well, let's see if I can lure one away, guys.
It started.
Well, perhaps the story that that is set for your book is quite a crimson tale.
This is going to be an interesting one.
What are feminine wiles if not used to murder people?
At this point, I think Trent has he was about to try and convince people to join him on this, and now he sees that everybody else is more head into this than he is, and he's just, sitting there with his mouth half open, okay.
It seems the issue now is not what to do next, but how to plan it.
But
I mean,
who
well,
to
no.
do it?
Oh
Not
no,
what-
we
who
know
to do
who.
it. Oh, okay.
We have the who. We just need to get the how.
I'll wave.
Are we not going back to get our gold from...
Oh,
Oh,
we
we
need to
will.
go back to Hillcrest, but no one said that
we don't have to
captain
bring the
had to
sailors
take us.
back.
Well,
Can you sail?
I do want to point out.
I think
we
so.
voted them-
I don't
really
really
wanna
want to deal with the high.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
I think so. That's a yes or no question, Miss Tessa.
Look at Merton.
We can always keep one.
Yeah, we can learn.
The book flashes a
Guys,
page
no.
that just says no exclamation point.
We don't need to learn to sail. We
I
can
love
make-
that book.
Keep one alive.
We can make him sail for us.
Oh yeah.
We take them all captive.
Ooh, guys.
Sacrifice the ones we want.
Yeah,
keep
watch
a
him. Make
sailor.
him watch. Make him watch. Then I'm
Okay,
scared.
well, we could. That's a possibility.
Tassa's all for this because it's so much story for the book and just a lot of murdering.
That's fine with me.
Trent is suddenly scared.
Yeah. Oh god, these people are crazier than I am.
Guys, I have a reason for this. What's going on here?
No.
I mean, I appreciate the help and the enthusiasm, but we don't have to turn into monsters or anything. I was thinking maybe we could go find some bad people and
Those
drug
sailors
them
are
and
bad
bring
people.
them back here.
Sure, these guys are bad people.
Well,
Yeah, but they're
perhaps we
also our
could-
ticket back to
They-
town without Hyprex beasts.
Yeah,
What
so
did I
keep
say? We
One
keep
alive
one.
Who can sail.
Well, our immediate they're not back for another day or two here. Our immediate concern could be tracking down whatever is shooting crossbow bolts into the quest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if there's a murderer here or bandits or something, I would love to take care of them.
Okay.
Or illegal slave smugglers.
Was there any condition tied to your task, young Trent?
They have to be alive when we bring them
Oh.
down there.
We have to take them back to the altar.
Yes.
And
Also-
how many?
There was no number given. You said it would be a few. So
Ooh,
at least
ask for a number after you do the first one.
I feel like it's more I don't know the word to describe it, but the power of the people might have an effect of it.
So if we
The
kill
better
bull
the
instead of the
sacrifices,
sailor? Not saying
the
we'll kill
fewer it
bull.
would be.
But it doesn't care about the karma of the target, correct?
No, it's more just like the more people we bring back there, the closer we'll be to it, and eventually he'll know what we need. But it's not like I'm not asking you guys to do.
Well, the question is, does it matter that we are helping you with this, or is your God going to leave us in a bloody mess?
Actually, he's asked me to take you guys on as sort of a coven, with
Oh.
myself acting as the in-between, as
I'm
the
gonna-
follower of him.
I'm gonna
and the
look
rest of you.
surprised as I tap my holy symbol. I'm not sure, Trent.
You won't have to be his followers, or even pray to him, or anything.
Tessa,
You can have your own reasons for what you do.
who is the god that you follow?
That's a good question. I forgot the name a very long time ago.
That would be something I would want, like now.
Give me like a minute.
I will have to check with my
Like a quick
deity as
minute.
well.
My book.
As for me, I tap my holy symbol, but it's fine for me to do work for other gods as long as I offer a tribute to Azun at one point.
I imagine a compromise can be made between my and your god, Trent. However, I may need people for myself. Understand?
I look over, dragonborn eyebrow raised over a Merton. Well, I suspected as much. Your god seems strange at times.
Could say that.
But as long as there is some suitable reward that I can offer to my liege after this, I am willing to do any task. And yours seems...
I will
Other than
forego any gold or valuables that we come across in this if it helps you get tribute to your god.
I personally do not have to offer the tribute myself, as long as it's something valuable that I can even offer for you guys to commune with Azir, just to see if he can offer you. He is a fair god who may have something you may need in exchange.
I value the information as above all else, and we've certainly got that covered. I look over at Tessa.
I assume
Yeah.
they also trade for information, looking over at Tessa and Burton.
Tessa, what
Sure.
god did you say you followed again?
Char.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Char. We'll pick. No.
Squeeze me, nigga?
I'll type
Oh,
it.
sorry,
Why?
Twitch, sorry. So sorry.
Sorry, Twitch. Sorry.
Sorry.
I apologize, Twitch.
wasn't me
You're
that
looking at the
flipped up on
Faerun
Cross.
gods, yes?
Gotta look at Evolution.
We have our own
Yeah,
set of
okay, I gotta go
gods.
to your gods.
Okay, we'll have to,
We'll fix that then.
we'll deal with that later. We'll cross that bridge when it, that comes up. But definitely will become relevant depending on how things go here.
And it's not looking like it's going well.
So, it is a little bit early, but I assume you guys are going to just rest here, right?
Yeah.
We're probably discussing our plans.
I mean, I don't need the long rest if unless somebody else does.
I definitely do.
Because I know a lot of people are like spell slot empty.
I mean, I'm good to keep going if people want to.
Do
But
the sacrifices have to be human? There are many monkeys around.
You
I
would
think
not
he
know.
said people. But I mean, we could try.
I might be a bit disrespectful.
Let's take
Yeah, I
a
don't-
breather here and make that decision whether we want to go after some monkey hoarding here, offer it to your altar. Is that what you want to do, or is that disrespectful?
I'd rather do a person first, and then maybe if he appears when I do that, we can ask about the monkeys. I hate those monkeys as much as you guys do, but I don't want to insult them.
Well, we've experienced a lot. Let's take a short break here, and then go check out any tracks. Maybe there are other humans or humanoids that we could find. Track down.
Bandits, perhaps.
I agree.
I would feel better if the people we were sacrificing were deserving.
Okay. So, are you guys going to long or short rest?
Well, before we do that, Aleutian, can I do a ritual?
Oh, what kind of ritual?
the identify ritual.
Ah, identify ritual.
As I spent almost all of my starting gold on this pearl.
Okay. You can tell, I assume this is for the dagger.
Yes.
You can tell that the dagger is indeed a magical object, though its powers are latent and have yet to be unlocked. It's like you're looking at something whose potential has yet to even begin to flourish, right? So you can tell that there's something that'll come of this, but you don't know exactly what it is. And even with the identify spell, you're not sure what the end result is going to be, or necessarily how to unlock it. Though, given the conversation you've had with your patron, you can probably put 1 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Actually, before bed here, can I touch Trent and cast protection from evil and good?
Sure.
Well, you beat me to it. He's the
So,
last one on
makes him immune to fear, charm, possession from celestials, undead, namely aberrations.
You can't be charmed by
So-
me anymore.
But he would realize at this point, even while we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
You mean my
It
paladin
would have
was?
been an hour, definitely.
Okay. So we're going for a long rest there. Wait. No, it was long, right? I'm not tripping
It
balls.
was long.
Okay.
But I did want to make sure that he wasn't possessed, and as long as I made that was okay. But
Gotcha.
Trent should have realized that he was also charmed at that point.
Is
Yeah, he
anybody
definitely
else
would've.
doing anything tonight before passing out? So,
Um,
Trent did his identify spell. Does anybody else have business that they're up to before catching some shut-eye?
Nope.
Nope.
Just
Oh, yes. Start working on Trent's document.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, did you get the supplies?
I did.
You did, right, but you didn't want to do it on the ship.
Right.
Go ahead and make that forgery check, please.
What is like the modifier to this?
I'd say you could use either charisma or alternatively dexterity, whatever you're comfortable with. And then, of course, the proficiency for the tool. Ooh.
Nice. 15 plus charisma is 18 plus proficiency is 20.
You finish this
Right.
in record time. Trent is dozing off here, just about to pass out, and a couple hours later, you hand over to him the finished papers.
There you go, sir.
Trent, you can add incredibly convincing forged papers saying that you are indeed Trent Goldenbrow instead of Silvermail. They look
Thank you.
incredible.
This is.
He's not McLovin?
I don't mean to insult you.
Trent McLovin mail.
No, I don't mean to insult you, Merton, but this is far better than your previous work, and I appreciate it.
Well, when you have the proper supplies, obviously it's going to be better.
I love this. You guys are starting
do
like
you
a
have any
murder cult.
need?
Fake documents. Interpol's going to be after you guys soon.
If we have like a little campfire or something in the
Yep.
middle of the room here, I throw the shitty documents into the campfire.
Into
And
flame.
shitty they were.
What was it, like a 2
I
luck
rolled
check?
really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly great.
Well, I think Aleutian rolled really bad for that one.
Yeah,
oh,
we-
maybe.
on both sides we did pretty poorly. So with that, you get the new papers. How about you, Tessa and Zakul? Are you guys doing anything before bed?
Tessa's got nothing.
Okay.
Just
Other than that
wants to-
spell, no.
Okay. You guys go to bed, and I need a wisdom check, straight wisdom, not saving throw, from you, please, Zakul. Actually, do charisma, given that that's your casting modifier.
It's a +3, so 10 or 13.
Okay, not today then. So you guys lay down, go to get a rest, and wake the next day feeling very well rested. I assume you guys would do a watch order similar to your names. I'll just assume that that's the case unless stated otherwise. And
Mhm.
you are not interrupted.
I'll like look at my hands and like this giant scars or scabs on them and be like, eh.
Yeah, it's still sore. I mean, when you wake at first, there's no pain, but then the moment you go to like move your hand, it's just, there it is again.
I like go to grab a fork or something to eat food with. Here are my divinity rolls for the new day, by the way.
Ah, let's see.
You cut pretty deeply there, Trent. I don't think you're supposed to cut quite that.
There's a
Yeah.
big one.
Gun.
Nice 18.
Nice.
I see
Whoa.
all.
Whoa.
Somebody
Oh,
just there we go.
1814, I think it was.
What did somebody do?
So I
It's a
pressed E
20.
Turn,
twice.
and it was like a 20 to a 16.
Bumped it up to a 20. Nicely done.
Thank you. Also, Aleutian, real quick.
Yes.
If there's ever anything you want to do with the fact that I am like a divination wizard, like I know we had previously like out of game talked about like divination wizards having some weird shit where they like see things and then they don't know if like what they're seeing is the real future or like
I
possible
may mess
future.
with you using that.
Yeah,
later.
I would love that. Like that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Obviously, don't feel like you need to or anything, but feel free to fuck with me all you want.
Sounds good. I
Fuck
appreciate
me,
it.
baby. Fuck me harder. Fuck me, senpai.
Waking up the next day, you guys are around a campfire that has been tended to throughout the night by whoever was there watching, and you all feel nice and rested. Gather your things, and before setting off on the new day, we will end the session there.
Oh,
Bum, bum, bum.
baby, it happened.
Okay, so Chase, you definitely
Yes.
killed the character, right? Because you wanted to. Like that was something you brought up.
What do you mean?
No.
Okay. I feel like you had a talk of illusion. Like I need you to kill my character. So
I don't. What?
A sloth, as we call it, in the biz.
Did you
sloth?
sloth?
That is a sloth. Thank you for saying that. That is totally a sloth.
Anyway, we're going to end the session here. Players, I think you guys did great. Congratulations on those of you who survived, at least. There was little to be found in terms of treasure, but you guys gained a lot of knowledge and may have just started up a very exciting murder club.
Yay!
Not something that I've formally done before with a D&D group, so should be interesting.
I was like, this is sounding like murder hobo.
It only took us 3 sessions.
Hooray! Definitely a new turn for Monday Group. For the audience, it's always good to have you. Thanks for tuning in. And to all the supporters, Patreon people with biddies and all that jazz, we couldn't do it without you. And we will see you tomorrow for Tuesday's
People with
game.
biddies.
We
People with
literally flipped the
biddies.
tables on Monday. Instead of Monday being the ones getting murdered, we are murdering.
I don't know, man.
Yost.
Monday Group. When I joined Monday Group, we were traveling around, hunting things down for a questionable entity of shady descent. So
Well then.
as long as nobody here decides to reveal it in the middle
Oh yeah.
of a noble estate while we're about to get tasked with stopping slavery, I think we'll be.
I sense a shout out.
Since that was very specific to an event that happened on Monday.
Hmm.